Chapter 3157. They were afraid that they could not get Lin Yi's forgiveness. Then, they would be in an awkward situation. At that time, it was hard to say whether Lin Dongfang would still recognize them as his little brothers. Therefore, they rang the doorbell of Lin Yi's villa with an extremely perturbed mood. With guests coming to the door, Lin Yi stopped circulating the art of dragon mastery, got up, left the room, and walked to the door of the villa's courtyard. However, when Lin Yi walked to the door and saw the three people outside the villa, his eyes suddenly froze. In his heart, there were raging waves. Among the three people outside the door, there were two experts with great perfection strength at the peak of the late stage of heaven stage, and one expert with great perfection strength at the peak of the late stage of heaven stage. What kind of combination was this? In the ancient times, they were existences that could run amok. How could they appear at the door of his house? What was the purpose of these people? "Excuse me, who are you looking for?" Lin Yi asked calmly. Since these three people did not barge in but politely rang the doorbell, although Lin Yi was secretly on guard, he still asked very politely on the surface. "Excuse me, is this the residence of Lin Yi, young hero Lin?" Blood Robe Ancestor asked carefully. This question made Lin Yi's eyelids twitch involuntarily. Young hero Lin? These were experts with great perfection strength at the peak of the late stage of heaven stage, and they called him young hero Lin? Was there something wrong with them? At this moment, Lin Yi was really stunned. Where did these three come from? Seeing Lin Yi's stunned expression, Ancestor Yellow Spring could not help but glare at Blood Robe Ancestor. He naturally understood that Blood Robe Ancestor was too infuriating, which made Lin Yi suspicious. He coughed, pointed at Lin Yi, and asked sternly, "Boy, you are Lin Yi, right?" "That's me." This time, Lin Yi was even more puzzled. What were these three people doing here? Why was one so polite, and the other so arrogant? Old Ancestor Yellow Spring finished speaking. Glancing at Ancestor Eerie Woods naturally knew that he, the mediator, had appeared. He coughed twice and said to Lin Yi, right? These two are the ancestors of our blood-clothed underworld sect. One has a good temper, and the other has a bad temper, blood-clothed netherworld sect? Lin Yi asked. His expression immediately changed as he looked at the three people in front of him in astonishment. As for having a good temper and having a bad temper, he had experienced it before. These three were his greatest enemies. They should have started fighting the moment they arrived. Why were they standing here and talking so much with him? Could it be that the temperament of experts was a little strange? Not bad. Old Ancestor Eerie Woods nodded and said, "We, the blood-clothed underworld sect, may have had some misunderstandings with Mr. Lin Yi. We are here today to resolve this misunderstanding." Resolve the misunderstanding? Lin Yi couldn't figure it out. What were these three people trying to do? If it wasn't for Lin Yi's golden finger that could see the strength of these three people, he would have thought that these three people were big liars. However, which peak late stage heaven stage great perfection expert would have the time to pretend to be a liar? And there were two of them at the same time? Even the remaining peak late stage heaven stage expert wouldn't be in the mood to pretend to be a liar, right? Not bad. "Mr. Lin Yi, aren't you going to invite us in?" Ancestor Eerie Wood's tone was neither good nor bad. He just said indifferently, "All right, please come in." Lin Yi took a deep breath. If it was a blessing, it wouldn't be a curse. If it was a curse, it couldn't be avoided. With the strength of these three people, Lin Yi couldn't run away even if he wanted to. He wasn't their match even if he wanted to resist, so Lin Yi simply wanted to see what they were going to do. Now it seemed that although these three people's attitude wasn't very good, they didn't do anything excessive, so Lin Yi also calmed down. Seeing that Lin Yi was still so calm after knowing their identity, Ancestor Yellow Spring couldn't help but admire him. As expected of the descendant of the killer Vajra duo, his mentality was so strong. How would he know that Lin Yi had the attitude that it was a blessing, not a curse? Ancestor Yellow Spring, Ancestor Bloodcloak, and Ancestor Eerie Woods walked into Lin Yi's villa. At this time, Yushu hadn't returned from school yet. Su Shihan and Cheng Yi were practicing singing upstairs and rarely went downstairs during the day. So, only Lin Yi and Bloodcloak were left in the living room. Mr. Lin Yi, before, there was some misunderstanding between us. You killed a few of our people, right? Ancestor Eerie Woods sat down and asked. Both Ancestor Yellow Spring and Ancestor Bloodcloak weren't very good at pretending, and Ancestor Eerie Woods had some ability, so among the three of them, he spoke on behalf of the others. Yes, but it was your people who wanted to kill me first, so I was forced to fight back. Lin Yi couldn't figure out the purpose of these three people here, so he didn't hide it and told the truth. After all, these things could be investigated even if he didn't say it, so it was better to tell the truth. Oh, we know, we have no hatred with Mr. Lin Yi. The reason why we assassinated Mr. Lin Yi was because we received a mission, so we came to assassinate Mr. Lin Yi. Ancestor Eerie Woods said, as the saying goes, we take people's money to eliminate disasters. This is our original purpose. I understand, and I don't blame you. Lin Yi nodded. He had also trained in the secular world's assassin group, so he naturally understood the rules of the assassin world. In this matter, there was no right or wrong, so he naturally couldn't blame the assassins. Every injustice has its perpetrator, and every debt has its debtor. Whoever wants to kill me, I will settle the score with them. That's right. Ancestor Eerie Woods slapped his thigh and said, Mr. Lin Yi is really a smart person. It's so easy to talk to Mr. Lin Yi. Mr. Lin Yi understood us at once. You came here just to say this? Lin Yi looked at Ancestor Eerie Woods strangely. Of course not. We have already sent out Heaven's stage experts, but they are no match for Mr. Lin Yi, so we have decided to give up this plan. Ancestor Eerie Woods said, although we were wrong in the first place to assassinate Mr. Lin Yi also killed many of our people. How about we just let this matter go? Just let it go? Lin Yi couldn't believe his ears. There was such a good thing? The assassin group couldn't kill people, and they still wanted to make peace? Moreover, he didn't have the confidence to escape from any of these three. How could they just let it go? Yes, I don't know what Mr. Lin Yi thinks. Ancestor Eerie Woods nodded and asked. Of course I don't have any opinion, but are you really sincere? Lin Yi felt that this matter was a little strange no matter how he looked at it. Chapter 3158. Of course. In fact, we can see that Mr. Lin Yi has great potential, so we don't want to be enemies with Mr. Lin Yi. Eerie Woods' ancestor nodded. Of course, you might have guessed that since we are the ancestors of the blood-clothed underworld sect, then we should be at least at the peak late-stage heaven rank, right? That's right. Lin Yi nodded. This was what puzzled him the most. It should be easy for these three to kill him, so why did they talk so much? In fact, the ancestors of the blood-clothed underworld sect won't easily take action. This is the rule. The employer gives us a limited amount of money, and we can only send a mid-stage heaven rank expert at most. We can't trouble the ancestors with this amount of money. Although killing you might be as easy as lifting a finger, we won't do it. Because every profession has its rules, and we can't break them. Ancestor Eerie Woods explained, on the contrary, our employer gave us false information, causing our blood-clothed Yellow Spring Gate to suffer heavy losses. We want to take revenge on our employer. We seriously suspect that our employer is trying to trick us on purpose. Many of these rules were made up by Eerie Woods' ancestor to gain Lin Yi's trust. Of course, what he said was reasonable, so Lin Yi really believed them. Otherwise, Lin Yi really couldn't figure out why these three were here. Who is your employer? Who hired you to kill me? This was the question that Lin Yi wanted to know the most. This employer is an old acquaintance of yours. Eerie Woods' ancestor said. Actually, we think that you are a young expert with unlimited potential, so we want to make friends with you. That's not important. Our blood-clothed underworld sect also has young talents. This time, we personally came here to ask for your help. Teach this employer a lesson, or else we won't be able to swallow this anger. Why? This employer has a great background? Even you guys don't dare to deal with him? Lin Yi was stunned. That's not it. Eerie Wood's ancestor waved his hand. We are an assassin organization after all. It's not good for our reputation to deal with the employer. Moreover, we only suspect that the employer is cheating us. We don't have any evidence, so it's not good for us to act. Besides, he's currently a disciple of an ancient sect. It's not good for us to attack an ancient sect's disciple. Pfft, a disciple of an ancient sect? Lin Yi immediately didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Do you think that the ancient sect that you all fear? Do you think I have a way to deal with it? Of course there is. That's why we're here. Otherwise, do you think you have enough face to make the two of us patriarchs act like this? Together with me, the housekeeper, to look for you? Ancestor Eerie Woods asked. Oh. Who is your employer? Lin Yi couldn't help but have some doubts. Zhao Qibing. Sun said, he's currently a disciple of the Dark Palace. If we were to deal with a disciple of the Dark Palace, it would cause a conflict between the ancient sections. Mr. Lin Yi doesn't have to worry about that. As far as I know, the current master of the Dark Palace, Meng Yao, is Mr. Lin Yi's woman, right? Lin Yi was just about to say that Meng Yao wasn't his woman, just a good friend, but suddenly remembered Yao Yao's confession before she left. She should be his woman now, so Lin Yi nodded. So it's Zhao Qibing. The question that had been bothering Lin Yi for a long time was finally solved. He was wondering how he managed to provoke the Blood Cloak Underworld sect. It turned out that they weren't looking for trouble on purpose, but were asked to do so by someone else. With this, Lin Yi's hatred towards the Blood Cloak Underworld sect faded away. The assassin organization worked for money, and the culprit was Zhao Qibing. What's in it for me to do this? Lin Yi thought about it and asked back. Although he knew that he was asking a tiger for its skin, since Elder Sinister Forest had explained so much before, it all boiled down to one thing. They wouldn't touch Lin Yi now. That was why Lin Yi had the guts to ask. Punish him and avenge our blood-clad Yellow Spring sect. Consider it as giving us face. Our blood-clad Yellow Spring sect owes you a favor, and we will definitely return it. Owe me a favor? Lin Yi thought about it. This was a business that could only be profitable. Meng Yao would definitely punish Zhao Qibing without saying anything, so it meant that the Blood Cloak Underworld sect owed him a favor. This was a good thing. And so, Lin Yi nodded. Alright, if that's the case, it's a deal. Straightforward. The Yellow Spring ancestor nodded as well. I like straightforward people the most. Alright, this matter is settled. The three of us won't disturb you any longer. We'll be leaving now. Leaving just like that? Lin Yi was taken aback. He didn't expect the three of them to really come here for this matter. They were leaving right after. That's right. The purpose of our trip is to ask Mr. Lin Yi to help us punish Zhao Qibing. We've been established for so long, and we've never been played like this by our employer. It's a scam. The Sun ancestor said angrily. Alright, I'll tell Meng Yao. Lin Yi nodded. Take care. Alright, you don't have to send us off. We'll be leaving now. The Sun ancestor said and followed the Yellow Spring ancestor and Blood Cloak ancestor out of Lin Yi's villa. They really didn't stop and left immediately. Looking at their backs, Lin Yi frowned. What happened today was really a little strange. The Sun ancestors' words seemed very reasonable, but Lin Yi felt that with their status, there was no need for them to do this to him. Why did they come to visit him personally? Was it really because of Zhao Qibing? Thinking about it, if they wanted to deal with Zhao Qibing, they could just tell the Palace of Darkness and owe them a favor. There was no need for them to come here and waste their time, right? However, if it was because the current master of the Palace of Darkness was Meng Yao, and they tried to assassinate him before, so they were afraid that Meng Yao wouldn't give them face. This was also possible, so they came to him to be the middleman. This was the only possibility that Lin Yi could think of. However, since the three of them weren't hostile, Lin Yi was relieved. From the beginning to the end, Lin Yi's jade didn't give any warning. This proved that these three really didn't want to kill him. Perhaps, they really didn't want to deal with him. Chapter 3159. After leaving Lin Yi's villa, the Netherworld ancestor, the blood-clothed ancestor, and the Ensign ancestor did not rush to leave Donghai City and return to the blood-clothed underworld sect. Instead, they planned to stay here for a while and have a comprehensive understanding of Lin Yi. In other words, they had now become Lin Yi's underlings. How could they not know their master? At the very least, they had to know who Lin Yi's current enemies were, and who were the friendly sects and other underlings. For those enemies, the blood-clothed underworld sect would be suppressed to death if there was a chance. For the friendly sects and underlings, they must be clear, lest the flood rushed against the Dragon King Temple, and the family did not recognize the family, so they decided to stay and investigate more. Ensign, you let the people of the intelligence team quickly enter Donghai City and start investigating the master's affairs. We must know ourselves and the enemy, so as to help the master and live up to the old master's trust, said the Netherworld ancestor. Okay, I know, I will call now. The Ensign ancestor nodded and went to call the people of the intelligence team to come over. Dongfang family, Dongfang Jinxing, today, received an important piece of good news, that is, the Pure Yin Heavenly Master of the Everyday and Everyday sect came out, and the Pure Yang Heavenly Master had already given a reply that he could deal with Lin Yi together with Dongfang family's Dongfang Yinxing. Therefore, Dongfang Jinxing rushed to the door of Dongfang Badeo's room, knocked on the door, and said, "Father, second brother, there is great news." "Jinxing, come in." Dongfang Badeo said, "What's so exciting?" "Father, the Pure Yin Heavenly Master of the Everyday and Everyday sect has come out. Just now, their Pure Yang Heavenly Master has contacted me and can join us to kill Lin Yi." Dongfang Jinxing said excitedly, "This time, Lin Yi will die." "Oh. The Everyday and Everyday sect can make a move?" Dongfang Badeo pondered for a moment and said, "Let's cooperate with them this time. When I and Inxing become masters of the great perfection one day, we can make the Everyday and Everyday sect pay some price." "Father, you agree for me to help?" Dongfang Inxing was also very excited. He had been prepared to kill Lin Yi before, but because he was afraid of Lin Yi's ability to jump ranks and kill enemies, he didn't dare to go alone. This time, he had the Pure Yin Heavenly Venerable, two-peak late-stage heaven rank powerhouses. Even if Lin Yi had 3 heads and 6 arms, he wouldn't be able to kill Lin Yi. This time, he was dead for sure. "Yes, with Pure Yin Heavenly Venerate accompanying you, I can naturally rest assured that you can go. Otherwise, that brat Lin Yi is really too strange. He can jump realms and instantly kill experts much stronger than him. This really makes one have no choice but to be on guard." Dongfang Badeo said, "If it weren't for the Everyday and Everyday sect, I would definitely let you put down this hatred for the time being. After all, we have lost a lot of our backbone. If something happens to you, our Dongfang family will really decline. At that time, even more ancient aristocratic families and sects will surpass us. The losses outweigh the gains. Is that brat Lin Yi so powerful?" Dongfang Yinxing frowned, apparently disapproving. "Don't underestimate the enemy." Dongfang Badeo waved his hand and said, "That Lin Yi. He can live until now and hasn't been killed by the enemy. He still has his own uniqueness. We must not underestimate the enemy too much, so as not to overturn the boat in the gutter." "Yes." Dongfang Yinxing quickly responded. But in his heart, he still underestimated the enemy a little. He felt that Lin Yi was just a small early-stage heaven rank master, and it was impossible to be as powerful as him. Remember, if Lin Yi is really strong and things can't be done, then put down the hatred and quickly escape back. Don't show off. Dongfang Badao exhorted. I know, father. I will be careful. Although Dongfang Jingxing said so, his words were full of perfunctory, which made Dongfang Badao frown slightly. His son was not as steady as Dongfang Jingxing. Although his strength was there, he was still very impulsive in doing things. Dongfang Jingxing was very obedient, which was why Dongfang Badao was relieved to let him manage the Dongfang family. However, thinking about it, Lin Yi was just an early-stage heaven rank master. Even if he was powerful and could fight against the enemy, it was impossible to be the opponent of the peak late-stage heaven rank master, right? If that was the case, Lin Yi would have been able to do whatever he wanted in the ancient level. Moreover, when he was in the Cultivator Trading Association, Lin Yi should have killed Dongfang hard instead of letting him escape. It seemed that Lin Yi's strength was still limited. This made Dongfang Badao's originally nervous mood slightly relaxed. When do we act? Dongfang Badao asked. The everyday sect is waiting for our reply. As long as we nod, they will immediately send someone to meet us. Dongfang Jingxing said. Well, you tell him that now our Dongfang family is also ready. Let Dongfang Yinxing go to meet with Pure Yin Tianzuan, and then go together to kill Lin Yi. When Dongfang Badao said this, he turned to look at Dongfang Yinxing. Yinxing, you remember, you must act with Pure Yin Tianzuan, don't be stupid enough to rush to the front as a test. I understand this. Dongfang Yinxing's words were heard. He was not stupid. Since it was an alliance between the two families, he naturally wanted Pure Yin Tianzuan to rush to the front. It was best to fight with Lin Yi until both sides suffered, and then kill Lin Yi himself. This was also an indirect way to let the everyday sect suffer a little and avenge Dongfang Buliu. Dongfang Jingxing came out of Dongfang Badao's room and went to call Pure Yang Tianzuan. After Pure Yang Tianzuan received the phone call, he told the news to Zhong Pingliang, Master, the Dongfang family has agreed to join forces with us to kill Lin Yi. We still have to kill Lin Yi. Pingliang sighed softly. Actually, after merging with Mad Dragon's memories, killing Lin Yi would be a piece of cake. I'd just send a couple of masters, and they'd be able to take him out. But the reason why I didn't do this is also because I want to give Pao motivation to improve his cultivation. But now, if Lin Yi is not eliminated, he can't get rid of the demon in his heart. We can only kill Lin Yi first. Master, since you agree, then I will let Pure Yin junior brother go to meet with Dongfang Yinxing? Pure Yang Tianzuan nodded and asked. Yes, but before he leaves, you ask him to come over. I have something to tell him. Zhong Pingliang said. Okay, master, I will go find him. Pure Yang Tianzuan nodded and went to find Pure Yin Tianzuan. Chapter 3160. He had already tried many times, but he still failed. After all, reaching the peak of the heaven stage was a very difficult hurdle. After crossing it, there was hope of advancing to the heavenly Tao. It was not something that could be comprehended just because one wanted to. Senior brother, how is it? Do you want me to come out of the mountain and kill that kid? Every time Pure Yin came out of seclusion, he would stretch his body. After all, he had been cooped up in the house for a long time. He definitely wanted to get some fresh air. At this time, there was a mission to kill, so he was very enthusiastic. Lord Master, who is also your great master uncle, has agreed. But before you go, Lord Master has something to tell you. Come with me. Pure Yang nodded and said. Okay. Pure Yin hurriedly followed Pure Yang to Zhong Pingliang's residence. After coming out of seclusion, he already knew that Zhong Pingliang was the resurrected patriarch Mad Dragon. Naturally, he was very respectful to him. The two came to Zhong Pingliang's residence and knocked on the door. Lord Master, disciple Pure Yang has brought junior brother Pure Yin here. Okay, come in. Zhong Pingliang said faintly. During this time, Zhong Pingliang had learned how to act cool. Although his character was still like Zhong Pingliang's playboy, he had to act like a superior in the sect. Otherwise, others would find it weird. Disciple Pure Een greets Great Master Uncle. Pure Een hurriedly said after entering the door. Pure Een, no need to be so polite. Zhong Pingliang waved his hand and said, this time, you are going to kill Lin Yi. I have something to remind you of. Great Master Uncle, please speak. Pure Een nodded and looked like he was all ears. It's like this, Lin Yi. I know very well that this kid is the best at hiding his strength. Therefore, the strength he revealed now might not be his true strength. This might not be his full strength, he has a lot of cards up his sleeves, you have to be careful. Zhong Pingliang warned. Uncle Master, I will remember this. Pure Een Empyrean's expression turned solemn. He quickly nodded his head. He believed Pingliang's words without a doubt. After all, Pingliang and Lin Yi used to be classmates and archenemies. Now that he had become the Mad Dragon Patriarch, if he still valued Lin Yi so much, then the Pure Een Empyrean would have to value him even more. Alright, as long as you remember. Pingliang nodded in satisfaction. You and Dongfang Yinxing from House Dongfang will fight together. Don't be greedy. He wanted to kill with one strike. Don't give Lin Yi any chance to breathe. After completing the mission, don't stay any longer and rush back immediately. Do you hear me? Yes. Eldest Martial Uncle, I understand. Heavenly Venerable Pure Een replied. All right. Go ahead. Pingliang said. The rendezvous between Heavenly Venerable Pure Een and Dongfang Yinxing was at the Shueshang Business Hotel in Donghai City. Dongfang Yinxing couldn't find any other place and had never been there before. This was where Dongfang Burua used to live, so Dongfang Yinxing chose this place. First, it was because they were familiar with the place, and second, it was closer to Lin Yi's villa, so they could go there at any time. As for Pure Een Empyrean, he had never been to Donghai City before. He lived wherever Dongfang Yinxing lived. The two arrived in the evening, but coincidentally, their car arrived at the same time as the Bloodcloak Underworld Sex Intelligence Team. Bloodcloak Ancestor, Netherworld Ancestor, and Sinister Ancestor were also staying at the Shueshang Business Hotel. This hotel was the closest to Lin Yi's villa, so it was convenient for them to investigate Lin Yi. Heavenly Venerable Pure Een and Dongfang Yinxing naturally didn't know these members of the Bloodcloak Underworld Sex Intelligence Team. After all, these people were responsible for intelligence work and wouldn't show their faces or let others know their identities. However, it didn't mean that they didn't know Heavenly Venerable Pure Een and Dongfang Yinxing. The Bloodcloak Underworld Sex Intelligence Team recorded all the famous figures in the ancient times, and their faces were silently engraved in the hearts of the intelligence team members. Therefore, when the two of them appeared at the entrance of the hotel, the person in charge of the Bloodcloak Underworld Sex Intelligence Team, Feng Xingniao, noticed them. After waiting for Heavenly Venerable Pure Een and Dongfang Yinxing to book their rooms, Feng Xingniao wrote down their room numbers and entered the elevator together. The rooms of Feng Xingniao and the others had been booked by Sinister Ancestor the day before. The reason why he waited with Heavenly Venerable Pure Een and Dongfang Yinxing was to listen to their conversation. After entering the elevator, Heavenly Venerable Pure Een and Dongfang Yinxing didn't hide anything. After all, they didn't think that there was anyone in the mortal world who could shake them, and outsiders wouldn't be able to understand what they were talking about. Does Lin Yi live nearby? Heavenly Venerable Pure Een asked. Yes, in a villa not far from here, Dongfang Yinxing said. Should we rest for a while before heading over, or should we go tonight? Let's go tonight. Heavenly Venerable Pure Een thought about it and said, the earlier we go, the faster we can get things done. We'll leave after that. All right. Dongfang Yinxing nodded. The conversation between these two sounded like they were going to visit a friend. If it wasn't for Feng Xingniao, anyone else wouldn't have paid any attention to it. However, Feng Xingniao's heart trembled. Did these two peak late-stage heaven powerhouses come here to deal with Lin Yi? After all, the intelligence team had already received news that the Dongfang family and the Everyday sect had enmity. Feng Xingniao didn't think that it was a good thing for these two to come looking for Lin Yi at the same time. Moreover, from what they said, they were going to leave quickly after finishing their business. Apart from killing people, what else could be done quickly for these ancient powerhouses? However, Feng Xingniao didn't show it on the surface. He had been collecting intelligence all year round and had long cultivated the ability to not show his emotions. So, at least on the surface, Feng Xingniao was focused on playing with his phone as soon as he got into the elevator. He didn't pay attention to Heavenly Venerable Pure Yin and Dongfang Yinxing at all. When they reached the floor where Feng Xingniao was, Feng Xingniao didn't pay attention to Heavenly Venerable Pure Yin and Dongfang Yinxing anymore. Instead, he walked out of the elevator with his two subordinates and walked toward Patriarch Hell and the others without looking back. Feng Xingniao knocked on the door of the room where Patriarch Hell, Patriarch Blood Cloak, and Patriarch Sinister Woods were. "Who is it?" Patriarch Sinister Woods' voice came from inside. Chapter 3161. "Oh, Wind Sage, you're here. Please come in." As he spoke, the door was opened, and Ancestor Eerie Woods welcomed the three people into the room. Wind Sage Bird greets Ancestor Netherworld, Ancestor Blood Cloak, and Ancestor Eerie Woods. After entering the room, the three people quickly bowed. "No need to be so polite, Wind Sage Bird. Has Eerie Woods told you the purpose of our visit?" Ancestor Netherworld waved his hand and asked. "Yes, he has." Wind Sage Bird nodded and quickly said, "Ancestor Eerie Woods asked us to investigate Lin Yi, but we saw something strange just now. It's also related to Lin Yi. Call him Master. Lin Yi will be the master of our Blood Cloth Underworld sect in the future. Do you hear me?" Ancestor Eerie Woods frowned and scolded. "Tell me, what news do you have about Master?" Yes." Although Wind Sage Bird was puzzled as to how Lin Yi became the master of the Blood Cloth Underworld sect, he did not dare to ask. Seeing that the three ancestors had discussed this matter and tacitly agreed to it, how could he dare to have any objections? Hence, he quickly said, "It's like this. I saw the Pure Yin Heavenly Master of the Everyday and Everyday sect and the Dongfang family's Dongfang Yinxing outside the hotel just now. In the elevator, they mentioned Lin Yi." Then, Wind Sage Bird repeated what he heard in the elevator to Ancestor Blood Cloak and the other two. "Oh. So, according to you, it is very likely that these two people are here to deal with Lin Yi?" Blood Cloak Ancestor asked solemnly after listening to him. "Theoretically, that should be the case. I was afraid of alerting the enemy, so I didn't dare to ask more. However, the two of them appearing here should be about the same." "It should be about the same," Wind Saint Bird analyzed. "Why don't I go and find out more?" "You're too weak. Don't go." Ancestor Blood Cloak waved his hand and said, "I'll go and find out myself." In fact, Feng Xingniao's strength was not low. He was a Heaven Stage Middle Stage expert. Of course, he was much weaker than Blood Cloak Ancestor and Yellow Spring Ancestor. Dongfang Yinxing and Pure Yin Heavenly Venerate were stronger than him, so it would be easy for him to be discovered if he went to spy on them. However, it would be different if Blood Cloak Ancestor went personally. After all, if a perfect perfection heaven rank expert wanted to hide his strength and aura, unless it was someone like Lin Yi who had a golden finger, it would be impossible for someone weaker than him to find out. After saying that, Ancestor Blood Clothed opened the window and flew out. Because it was on the side of the hotel building, there was no one outside. However, no one saw Ancestor Blood Cloak. The Blood Cloak Ancestor easily found the room where Pure Yin Heavenly Venerate and Dongfang Yinxing were. The Blood Cloak Ancestor was like a Spider-Man as he leaned against the wall. He had heard everything clearly. However, to the great disappointment of the Blood-Clothed Ancestor, he listened outside for half an hour, and there was nothing but the sound of the TV in the room. He didn't hear anything useful from Empyrean Pure Yang and Dongfang Yinxing's laughter. He listened for another half an hour or so. There was still nothing but laughter and TV in the room. The Blood-Clothed Ancestor could only go back first. However, thinking about it, these two were experts at the peak of heaven rank. There was no need for any discussion or strategy to deal with an early heaven rank expert like Lin Yi. They just had to go out at night and do it. The time now was just boring waiting. In a place like the secular world where the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was sparse, they couldn't cultivate. What else could they do other than watch TV? Thinking of this, the blood-clothed ancestor didn't wait any longer and returned to his room. "How is it, blood cloak? Did you find out anything?" Seeing that the blood-clothed ancestor had returned, the Yellow Spring ancestor quickly asked. The blood-clothed ancestor shook his head and said, "They have been watching TV in the room and didn't say anything else. Let's watch at night and act according to the situation. That's the only way." The Yellow Spring ancestor nodded. Yellow Spring ancestor, blood-clothed ancestor, Ensan ancestor, what should I do next? Feng Xingmiao asked. Next, you should take a rest first. You don't need to participate in tonight's matter. The blood-clothed ancestor thought for a while and said, "It will be enough for the three of us to take action at night." "Okay, then I will take my leave first," Feng Xingmiao said and left with his two subordinates. As for the Yellow Spring ancestor, blood-clothed ancestor, and Ensan ancestor, they quietly waited for the evening to come in the room. At 9:00, 10:00, 11:00, 12:00, Dongfang Yinxing and Pure Yin Heavenly Venerate did not move. The blood-clothed ancestor observed several times that they were watching TV in the room until 1:00 in the morning. Finally, they moved. Dongfang Yinxing and Pure Yin Heavenly Venerate walked out of the room and took the elevator out of the hotel to the parking lot. Then, they got into their car and slowly drove away from the Shueshang Business Hotel. Of course, with the strength of Dongfang Yinxing and Pure Yin Heavenly Venerate, there was no need for them to take a car to find Lin Yi. The purpose of them taking a car was probably to deceive others. Otherwise, it would be strange for the two of them to stroll outside in the middle of the night. However, the Yellow Spring ancestor, blood-clothed ancestor, and Ensan ancestor didn't drive a car. They didn't even take the elevator. Instead, they jumped out of the hotel window and over the wall on the side of the hotel, following Dongfang Yinxing and Pure Yin Heavenly Venerate's car slowly. The car drove to the entrance of Lin Yi's villa and stopped. The Yellow Spring ancestor and the other two also hid themselves not far away. Ding dong. Dongfang Yinxing rang the doorbell of Lin Yi's villa. He didn't force his way in because he was afraid of alerting the people around. After all, they were people from the ancient times. It would be unjustifiable for them to interfere in the affairs of the secular world. The Dongfang family barely had a reason to arrest the murderer of the Dongfang family, but the everyday sect didn't have a suitable reason. Hence, they kept a low profile. Although the newly appointed ancestor of the everyday sect, Zhong Pingliang, didn't play by the rules and relied on the strength of the everyday sect to disregard the rules of the ancient times, that was Zhong Pingliang. Pure Yin Heavenly Venerate kept a low profile as much as possible. Someone was ringing the doorbell at 1:00 in the morning. Lin Yi returned to reality from his cultivation state. He got up and walked out of the room, arriving at the entrance of the villa. Chapter 3162. Although Lin Yi had seen the three top masters from Yellow Spring sect before, he was still shocked. Because Lin Yi clearly felt that these two didn't have good intentions. They were different from the people from Yellow Spring sect. Whether it was their expressions or their cold attitude, it showed that they were enemies. What's the matter, visiting so late at night? Lin Yi didn't walk over to guard the door. The jade had already sent out a weak warning signal. If he walked over, the jade would probably send out a strong warning, right? So Lin Yi just stood at the door, looking at Dongfang Yinxing and Pure Yin Tianzuan from afar. Lin Yi had already thought about it. If anything happened, he would run to the backyard and get on the purple lightning beast. Yushu's backer was 5 elements sect. These two wouldn't dare touch her no matter how strong they were. As for Su Shihan, Lin Yi could only pray that these two wouldn't go upstairs to look for her. Otherwise, Lin Yi would have to come back and waste his only net to save Su Shihan. You're Lin Yi, right? Dongfang Yinxing wasn't in a hurry to make a move. He needed to be sure, otherwise, he'd be screwed. Just like Dongfang Song and the others, they'd tried to make a move on the inheritor of the Dark Palace, only to be killed by the Great Elder. You are? Lin Yi asked. Dongfang Yinxing. Dongfang Yinxing said proudly, you killed so many people from my Dongfang family. Today, I will make you pay with your blood. Dongfang Yinxing? Lin Yi frowned and looked at Pure Yin Tianzuan. What about you? You're not from Dongfang family too, right? Pure Yin Tianzuan, I'm here on the orders of Mad Dragon Ancestor to take your life. Pure Yin Tianzuan didn't explain too much and simply stated the purpose of this trip. Both of them were here to kill him? Lin Yi took a deep breath, turned around, and wanted to run. He had no choice but to run. Two peak late phase heaven class masters. Lin Yi wasn't their match at all. Lin Yi couldn't even deal with one, let alone two. Open the door and die. I'll let you die a quick death. Dongfang Yinxing said, don't even think about escaping. You won't be able to escape from two peak late heaven rank experts. What to do? Lin Yi pondered for a moment and wanted to turn around and escape. After all, if he didn't run now, it would be too late. Just at this moment of mutual hostility. Not far away, Ancestor Blood Cloak and Ancestor Yellow Spring exchanged glances and said at the same time, let's go. Leave no one alive. As they spoke, the two flew behind Dongfang Yinxing and Pure Yin Heavenly Venerate. As for old Ancestor Eerie Woods, he did not move. He was waiting for an opportunity to strike. Just as Dongfang Yinxing and Pure Yin Heavenly Venerable were about to kill Lin Yi, they suddenly felt a sense of danger coming from behind. Their hearts trembled and they quickly turned around, only to see two black-robed men rushing towards them. Damn it! Who are these people? Both of them were scared out of their wits because Ancestor Blood Cloak and Ancestor Yellow Spring were displaying their peak late phase heaven rank strength. The two of them had to be careful. This is Lin Yi. He has helpers. Pure Yin Heavenly Venerable and Dongfang Yinxing were shocked. Although they were puzzled, they had no choice but to take out their heaven-grade divine weapons at the same time. Otherwise, the two of them would die without a doubt in the face of the two shiny black iron swords. In the blink of an eye, the four divine weapons intertwined with each other. 2 against 2, it was hard to tell who would come out on top. Although the Blood Cloak Ancestor and the Yellow Spring Ancestor were at the peak of the late stage of the heaven rank and were stronger than the Pure Yin Heavenly Venerable and Dongfang Yinxing, it was impossible for them to instantly kill each other. After all, at this level, they had a lot of fighting experience. It was unrealistic to say who could directly kill the other. However, if they fought for a period of time, Ancestor Blood Cloak and Ancestor Yellow Spring were both experts with half a foot in the heaven rank. Dongfang Yinxing and Pure Yin Heavenly Venerate were both experts with half a foot in the Great Perfection realm. Although the two of them hadn't reached that level yet, they had already touched the threshold after years of cultivation. All they lacked was an opportunity, so their combat experience wasn't the slightest bit lacking. However, what made them alarmed was that the moves of the two people in front of them were very strange. Every move was a killer move, and every move was fatal. Not a single move only wanted to injure and not kill. This gave the two of them a headache. They had to carefully deal with every move, otherwise, there would be a bloody hole in their bodies. This also resulted in the two of them only being able to defend and not attack. And at this time, just as Ancestor Blood Cloak was about to attack Dongfang Yinxing suddenly felt danger coming from behind. However, he couldn't look back because Ancestor Blood Cloak's black iron sword was already stabbing towards him. If he didn't deal with it properly, he would be stabbed to death. This put him in a dilemma. He was incomparably hesitant, but there was no other way. He could only brace himself and defend first, praying that the person behind him was just Lin Yi. However, the reality was very cruel. Dongfang Yinxing suddenly felt that the person behind him was at the peak of the heaven rank, but it was already too late. An arrow pierced through his heart. Dongfang Yinxing died with his eyes wide open. Pure Yin Heavenly Venerable was shocked, but he didn't dare to be distracted. In the next moment, it was his turn to suffer a tragedy. Another arrow pierced through his heart. Pure Yin Heavenly Venerable also died. However, before he died, he suddenly remembered the identity of the three people in front of him. You're from the Blood Cloak Yellow Spring sect. Moreover, your ancestors. Why do you want to kill me? Pure Yin Heavenly Venerable couldn't understand why the three ancestors of the Blood Cloak Yellow Spring sect wanted to kill them. This was a completely unrelated matter. Why did they help Lin Yi? In fact, the fight between these people was over in the blink of an eye. Because there was a distance between each villa in the villa area, it didn't alarm anyone else. Lin Yi was originally prepared to escape, but he couldn't help but stare in shock when he saw the three from the Blood Cloak Yellow Spring sect suddenly jump out and kill Pure Yin Heavenly Venerable and Dongfang Yinxing. What kind of show were these three putting on? Why did they help him? Thank you for helping me. May I ask if you're returning my favor? Lin Yi really couldn't understand why these three would help. The only thing he could think of was that the Yellow Spring ancestor and the others said that if he helped Meng Yao torture Zhao Qibing, they would owe him a favor. So, no matter how he thought about it, this was the only possibility that Lin Yi could think of. Chapter 3163. Oh. Assassination targets? Lin Yi was slightly surprised. Yes, I'm really sorry that I didn't tell Mr. Lin before. Perhaps, Mr. Lin was wondering why 3 patriarchs were dispatched at the same time when we came to make peace with you. Isn't this a little too much? Asked Ancestor Eerie Woods. Indeed, I was wondering before, but I was too embarrassed to ask. Lin Yi nodded. Could it be that your real target is these 2 people? That's right. Eerie Old Ancestor nodded. Only the 3 of us can easily kill these 2 peak late-stage heaven rank experts. However, we were afraid of alerting them, so we didn't tell Mr. Lin about this. Moreover, the mission is confidential, so we didn't know that Mr. Lin has a grudge against these 2. We were also afraid that Mr. Lin would leak the secret, so we concealed it. Mr. Lin, you won't be unhappy, right? Of course not. Lin Yi shook his head in surprise and joy. He suddenly realized something. Before this, he was still wondering when he got so much face to have 3 elders from the Blood Cloth Underworld sect come to him to make peace. Wasn't this too awesome? Now it seemed that they came with a mission. As for why they killed Pure Yin Heavenly Lord and Dongfang Yinxing, Lin Yi didn't bother to ask. It was very simple. Someone paid for murder, so they made a move. There was no reason at all. Just like before, they inexplicably came to kill Lin Yi for the same reason. Moreover, this matter didn't have much to do with Lin Yi. As long as the Blood Cloth Underworld sect didn't come to kill him, it was fine. As for who the employer was, there was no need for him to ask. Lin Yi used to be an assassin in the secular world, so it was impossible for him to casually tell others about his employer. Then the 3 of us will go first. You must keep the matter of us coming here a secret. Don't tell anyone. Blood Cloth Old Ancestor pondered for a moment and said, however, I'll have to trouble Mr. Lin to help deal with these 2 corpses. I can't say for sure, but I'll have to trouble Mr. Lin to take the blame for their deaths. Oh. Lin Yi was slightly stunned, but he was overjoyed. Taking the blame for the 3 ancestors of Yellow Spring sect was not a bad thing. In fact, it was a good thing for Lin Yi. Even if the Dongfang family in Everyday After Bright sect knew that Dongfang Yinxing and Pure Yin Heavenly Venerable were killed by the blood-clothed underworld sect, it wouldn't do Lin Yi any good. They wouldn't lessen their hatred for Lin Yi because of this. On the contrary, if the 2 of them died in front of Lin Yi's house, they might even think that Lin Yi hired the blood-clothed underworld sect to kill them. Therefore, they probably wouldn't seek revenge from the blood-clothed Yellow Spring sect. He would still look for Lin Yi. However, what if they thought that the two of them were killed by Lin Yi? That would be different. Killing two peak late-stage heaven powerhouses wasn't something an ordinary person could do, but Lin Yi did it. In this way. Whether it was the Dongfang family or the Everyday After Bright sect, they had to reevaluate Lin Yi's ability. If they wanted to deal with Lin Yi, they had to send out more powerful experts. Who was the more powerful expert? It was definitely a peak late-stage heaven perfection expert. However, there was another problem. If Lin Yi could kill two peak late-stage heaven perfection experts, why couldn't he kill a peak late-stage heaven perfection expert? It wasn't impossible, it was very possible. Moreover, even a peak late-stage heaven perfection expert wouldn't dare to say that he could easily kill two peak late-stage heaven perfection experts, right? It was possible to kill one, but if two were to attack together, the peak late-stage heaven perfection expert might be the one to suffer. This was a 50-50 chance. Of course, if it was someone else, no one would believe that an early-stage heaven rank expert could kill two peak late-stage heaven rank experts. They might even mistake it as a mental patient talking nonsense. But when it came to Lin Yi, everyone thought that it was normal. Lin Yi had been fighting enemies stronger than him since his debut. Many of the Dongfang family's experts had died in Lin Yi's hands, and the Everyday After Bright sect's Zhang Naipeo, who was known as the number one under a certain level, was defeated by Lin Yi every single time. If Zhang Naipeo could kill Dongfang Bushu, who was a peak late-stage heaven perfection expert, then why couldn't Lin Yi kill two peak late-stage heaven perfection experts if he was stronger than Zhang Naipeo? So, other than being surprised, no one would doubt it. This was Lin Yi's current advantage. When Lin Yi thought about it, he was very happy to get this benefit for free. Although he couldn't guarantee that the Dongfang family and the Everyday After Bright sect wouldn't react and seek revenge, but in the short term, they wouldn't be able to find trouble with Lin Yi. Two peak late-stage heaven perfection experts who didn't even know how they died, who would dare come to die? After thinking this through, Lin Yi cupped his fist at the three. Alright, I'll keep this a secret. No matter what, I thank the three elders for helping me kill my enemies. Since we're paid, we'll take our leave first. With that, Bloodreeb nodded and quickly left with the other two. The fighting in the yard alerted the people in the villa. The first to come out were Wu Qintian and Feng Sanhuang. They didn't see the fight, but they saw two corpses the moment they came out. What's going on? Who are these two people? Qintian and Feng Sanhuang were startled. The consecutive days of peace made them think that the Dongfang family had let go of this matter and wouldn't come looking for trouble, but tonight's matter didn't seem to be the case. These two people had sky-class weapons in their hands. They were obviously practitioners, and sky-class practitioners at that. They were most likely related to the Dongfang family. One is Dongfang Yinxing, and the other is Pure Yin Sky Master. Lin Yi said, both of them are peak late-stage heaven perfection. Qintian, Feng Bro, take care of these two corpses. Don't alert the neighbors. Dongfang Yinxing? Pure Yin Sky Master? Qintian didn't think much of it, but Feng Sanhuang was shocked. He naturally knew who these two were. They were famous masters for a long time, but they were dead? Killed by Lin Yi just like that? Chapter 3164. Feng Sanhuang came back to his senses. Mr. Lin, you're really amazing. You can even kill two heaven-rank peak late-phase experts. At this time, Su Shihan and Cheng Yi also came downstairs. When they saw the two corpses in front of the villa, they were shocked. When they heard that both of them were peak late-stage heaven class and were killed by Lin Yi, they were shocked as well. I used some secret techniques, but I paid a price for it. Lin Yi explained vaguely. He'd already promised Bloodcloak Underworld to keep it a secret, so he couldn't even tell the people close to him. He could only brush them off like this. Moreover, this was what Lin Yi wanted. If this matter was spread out, it would be of great benefit to Lin Yi's reputation. Since Lin Yi said so, Chen Tian and Sanhuang didn't ask anymore and quickly went to take care of the body. Shihan, on the other hand, walked over with fear. Lin Yi, this person is Dongfang Yinxing of the Dongfang clan. It looks like the Dongfang clan is going all out this time. Lin Yi said, I heard that there is still a man named Dongfang Jinxing and Dongfang Badeo left. I don't know when they will come. When they come, I'll kill them all, and then you can leave this place with peace of mind. Lin Yi's words were actually meant to spread the news through the mouths of his own people. Moreover, he also had another purpose. Ah! Su Shihan was shocked. Lin Yi was really ruthless. He wanted to wipe out their whole family. Then, what about the other person? Cheng Yi asked curiously. That person is from the Everyday and Everyday Church. He's called Pure Een Heavenly Venerable. In any case, the Everyday and Everyday Church and I are sworn enemies. I heard that they have a peak heaven rank expert at the great perfection of the heaven rank. I don't know if my secret technique can get rid of him. I can give it a try. It shouldn't be a problem, Lin Yi said. Heavens! So powerful. Cheng Yi stuck out her tongue. Xiaohan, since there's nothing else, I'll go upstairs to rest. I'm so sleepy. You go first. I'll wait for Brother Feng here. Su Shihan had something to tell Feng Sanhuang. Such a big thing happened today, she had to tell her father, Feng Tianlin. Alright, I'll go to bed first. I'm so sleepy, yawn. Cheng Yi turned around and walked towards the villa in a daze. Holy shit, I seem to have missed something fun. Yushu ran out of the villa in her pajamas, her big breasts in her hands. She looked at the bodies. Sanhuang and Chen Tian moved into the car with sleepy eyes. Shield bro, who are these two idiots? Lin Yi looked at Yushu. He couldn't help but smile bitterly. Shu, can't you drink less papaya milk? Are your breasts tired? Now you're holding it with your hands? Ugh. I've been drinking it since I was a kid, can't change it. Yushu said as she let go. Shield bro, maybe you could help me with liposuction? When you cultivate in the future, you can make your skin contract. If it's firmer, you won't need to hold it with your hands. Lin Yi used qi into sound. This was something he learned in the Ice Palace. He wasn't very familiar with it when he was a mystic. But now that he was a sky class, naturally, he could use it freely. Yushu becoming an inheritor was still a secret. Lin Yi didn't want anyone else to know about it. Besides, this was a private conversation. Lin Yi and Shu were so close that they didn't need to hide anything. But Su Shihan, Feng Sanhuang, and Chen Tian were there too, so Lin Yi couldn't say it out loud. Oh. Yushu nodded happily. Finally, I don't need to hold it up anymore. Lin Yi told Yushu about what happened last night and led her into the house. Shihan, on the other hand, went to call Feng Tianlin. The father and daughter didn't contact each other often, and every time they called, they had a lot to talk about. But tonight, other than Shihan and Feng Tianlin who didn't rest, it was destined to be a sleepless night for many people. Feng Tianhu, the first person to know about Dongfang Jinxing and Pure Yin's death, was shocked as if he was struck by lightning. He held the phone in his hand, unable to believe his ears. Two peak late-stage heaven rank powerhouses died just like that. Since when did Lin Yi become so powerful? Now, he could kill top-level practitioners? Feng Tianhu was shocked, but he was also afraid. He regretted killing Su Shihan when he had nothing better to do. Now he made such a strong enemy out of nowhere. If Lin Yi wanted to come to House Feng and take his life, it would be as easy as flipping his palm. Old Feng wouldn't even say a word for him. Because, even Old Feng wasn't his opponent. All of a sudden, Feng Tianhu was extremely frustrated. He felt that his biggest failure was working with Dongfang Xiaocui to deal with Shirhan. It was a stupid move. No, he couldn't just sit here and wait for death. He needed to quickly find Dongfang Xiaocui to discuss a plan. Coincidentally, Feng Tianlin went to pick up Shirhan's call. Dongfang Xiaocui had the chance to come out. Receiving Feng Tianhu's message, Dongfang Xiaocui quickly came to the prearranged location. Seeing Feng Tianlin frowning, she couldn't help but be confused. Tianhu? What are you doing? It's already so late. What's the matter? Don't let your second brother misunderstand. Sister-in-law, let's not talk about this. Something happened, something big happened. Feng Tianhu waved his hand and ignored Dongfang Xiaocui's words. He hurriedly said, Dongfang Yinxing is dead. What? My second brother is dead? Dongfang Xiaocui's eyes widened and looked at Feng Tianhu in disbelief. Feng Tianhu, are you joking? Your joke isn't funny at all. My second brother is a sky-class late-phase peak master. He's half a step into the absolute peak. You're saying he's dead? Sister-in-law, I'm not in the mood to joke with you. Feng Tianhu frowned. The everyday sex pure in Tianzuan died with him. He's also a sky-class late-phase peak master. What? How did they die? What did they go to do? Dongfang Xiaocui realized that Feng Tianhu might be telling the truth and asked anxiously. Chapter 3165. What? That Lin Yi is that strong? Isn't he just a heaven-class early-stage bodyguard? How could he kill 2 heaven-class late-stage peak masters? Dongfang Xiaocui asked in disbelief. That Lin Yi is very capable, he can fight those stronger than him. Before, he killed a heaven-class mid-stage master from the Dongfang family, and now he can kill 2 heaven-class late-stage peak masters. I heard that he used some kind of secret technique, but no matter what, he was hiding his strength before. Feng Tianhu said, now, I don't know if killing 2 heaven-class late-stage peak masters is his limit. Maybe he can even kill a heaven-class late-stage peak full-circle master. Then, what should we do? Dongfang Xiaocui turned pale with fright. Does he know that this is a conspiracy between the two of us? Will he come and cause trouble for us? If he comes, we'll all die. Tianhu, think of something, what should we do? Dongfang Xiaocui panicked. For the first time, she felt powerless and fearful. The Dongfang family could no longer be her support, because heaven-class late-stage peak masters could be killed by Lin Yi. Dongfang Xiaocui was afraid that Lin Yi would take revenge on her. Don't worry, Lin Yi definitely knows. He's my second brother's bodyguard, after all. My second brother will definitely tell him about us. So, there's no point in us panicking, we can only think of a plan. Feng Tianhu was also a bit anxious. How about we go find him and beg for mercy, don't kill us, I won't dare to do it again. I won't dare to do anything to Su Shirhan anymore, how about asking him to forgive us? Dongfang Xiaocui panicked, yes, that's it. I heard that he's Shirsan's boss, and I'm Shirsan's mother. Even if he doesn't want to let me go, he should at least give face to his little brother, Shirsan, right? I'll ask Shirsan for help now. Feng Tianhu was very unhappy. He thought, Lin Yi won't blame you then, he'll definitely vent his anger on me, what should I do then? It looked like this kind of brainless woman was out of the question. Cooperating with her was simply asking for trouble. However, Feng Tianhu had no other choice. Dongfang Xiaocui could rely on Feng Shipian. But he couldn't. Feng Shipian hated him to the core. Help him? Feng Tianhu hesitated. Whether it was a blessing or a curse, he couldn't avoid it. He could only try his best to think of a way. Then go. I'll think of something else, Feng Tianhu said helplessly. Dongfang Xiaocui went to plead with her son, Feng Shipian. After Feng Tianhu went back, he didn't give up. He called Dongfang Jinxing. This was done by him and Dongfang Jinxing. Even if he died, he would drag someone down with him. Dongfang Jinxing, in fact, was also waiting for news from Dongfang Yinxing. Today, Dongfang Yinxing had already talked to him and decided to kill Lin Yi at night. The appointed time was around midnight, but now it was almost dawn and there was no news. This gave Dongfang Jinxing a bad feeling in his heart. It was reasonable to say that two masters of the peak late stage of heaven stage could kill Lin Yi, a master of the early stage of heaven stage. It was just a matter of minutes. However, it had been a few hours and there was still no news. How could Dongfang Jinxing not be anxious? Jinxing, you are now the young master of the Dongfang family, why are you so restless? Dongfang Badeo looked up at Dongfang Jinxing. He was confident in Dongfang Yinxing. Masters of the peak late stage of heaven stage were the top existences in the current cultivation world. Even masters of the peak late stage of heaven stage great perfection couldn't easily kill them, let alone Lin Yi. Hey, father, why don't I call Yinxing and ask? Dongfang Jinxing was really a little uneasy. If he was not sure of the safety of Dongfang Yinxing, he would be a little restless. If you call, I am afraid that Yinxing is performing a killing mission and will affect him. Otherwise, you can send a text message. When Yinxing sees the message, he will give you a reply. Dongfang Badeo thought about it and said, Okay. Dongfang Jinxing nodded and picked up the mobile phone. However, before he could send a message, the phone rang. Dongfang Jinxing glanced at the caller ID. It was Feng Tianhu. Why did Feng Tianhu call so late at night? Although Dongfang Jinxing was a little puzzled, the two were in a cooperative relationship, so he still picked up the phone. Feng Tianhu, what's the matter? Brother Dongfang, something bad has happened. Mr. Dongfang Yinxing and Pure Yin Tianzuan have fallen. Feng Tianhu said in a hurry. What? What did you say? What happened to Yinxing? Dongfang Jinxing was shocked and couldn't believe his ears. Did I hear it wrong? Say it again. Brother Dongfang, you didn't hear it wrong. I just received the news that these two people were killed by Lin Yi's secret method in front of his house. Feng Tianhu sighed. He understood Dongfang Jinxing's mood. When he just received the news, wasn't he also shocked? What? Lin Yi killed them in seconds? How is this possible? Both of them are masters at the peak of the late stage of heaven stage. How could Lin Yi, a small early stage heaven stage, kill them in seconds? You are lying, aren't you? Dongfang Jinxing didn't want to believe what Feng Tianhu said. Although he also knew that Feng Tianhu definitely didn't have the courage to joke about such things, he still wanted to be lucky. AI. Feng Tianhu said helplessly, Brother Dongfang, Lin Yi can kill masters at the middle stage of heaven stage. Why can't he kill masters at the peak of the late stage of heaven stage? Didn't Zhang Naipeo from the Everyday sect kill Dongfang Bushu, a master at the peak of the late stage of heaven stage? That was just a trick. If it wasn't for the 5 evil savage lands, there wouldn't be so many spirit beasts. How could Bushu die if he didn't lose? At most, he just temporarily lost his mind. Dongfang Jinxing argued that Lin Yi also used some kind of secret method. It is said that he paid a certain price to be able to kill masters at the peak of the late stage of heaven stage. Feng Tianhu said, although I don't know what price Lin Yi paid, at least for now, Lin Yi seems to be fine. Maybe Lin Yi can even kill masters at the peak of the late stage of heaven stage in seconds. Chapter 3166. He couldn't accept this reality. The successive deaths of the Dongfang family had made his mood on the verge of collapse at any time. Today, his younger brother Dongfang Yinxing was also dead. Dongfang Jinxing was suddenly out of control. Jinxing, calm down. Although Dongfang Badeo vaguely understood that things were not good, and Dongfang Yinxing was afraid that it would be a disaster, but at this time, his own people couldn't mess up. He slapped Dongfang Jingsing's face and woke him up. Without waiting for Dongfang Jingsing to say anything, Dongfang Badeo directly grabbed the phone and said to the other side, "Feng Tianhu? I am Dongfang Badeo. Tell me in detail what you know. What the hell is going on?" "Ah, it's Master Dongfang. In fact, I don't know much. I also know about it from the informant over there." Feng Tianhu said and told Dongfang Badeo what he knew. In fact, he didn't know the details. It was nothing more than the result. So, that Lin Yi not only has the ability to kill two masters at the peak of the late stage of Heaven's stage at the same time, but he can even fight with masters at the peak of the late stage of Heaven's stage at the great perfection? Dongfang Badeo asked quickly after listening. Yes. Feng Tianhu nodded and said, "Master Dongfang, now that things have happened, the evidence is conclusive, the two people are really dead. We should discuss how to protect ourselves next. This matter is led by our two families. If Lin Yi really comes to our door, our Feng family can't resist it. Your Dongfang family is also one of Lin Yi's goods." This. Dongfang Badeo's face was very ugly. Although Feng Tianhu's words were very unpleasant, he had to admit it. What Feng Tianhu said was right. Lin Yi could kill two masters at the peak of the late stage of Heaven's stage at the same time, and nothing happened, and he was not injured. It was enough to see the strength of Lin Yi. So, this matter was now obvious. If Lin Yi wanted revenge, no one could stop it. The Dongfang family would suffer, and the ancient Feng family would also suffer. The current situation wasn't about revenge. It was to prevent Lin Yi from taking revenge. However, Master Dongfang was a shrewd old man after all. He did not panic. Instead, he pondered for a moment and said, "As far as I know, Lin Yi has many enemies, but Lin Yi rarely takes the initiative to find trouble with others. He only acts when he has no other choice. The few times our Dongfang clan attacked, Lin Yi was always on the defensive. This also proved this point. I've investigated Lin Yi before. Unless it was absolutely necessary, Lin Yi would not take the initiative to touch anyone. It had been so long. Lin Yi only took the initiative to touch the common house Yu and the hidden house Zhao. That may be the case, but old Master Dongfang. Do you know Xiangua, what does the common house Yu and the hidden house Zhao represent?" These two represent the common level and the hidden level. Lin Yi is killing the chicken to warn the monkey. Maybe the next one will be our ancient Feng family or the Dongfang clan. Feng Tianhu also studied Lin Yi and came to such a conclusion. That's because he was pushed too far. Now, none of the people around Lin Yi are dead or injured, but our Dongfang clan lost several masters. I don't think he can come to us for trouble. As long as we endure it and don't provoke him, it'll be fine. Dongfang Badeo said faintly, "Endure it, it's nothing." Feng Tianhu listened to Dongfang Badeo's tone and was so angry that his teeth itched, but there was nothing he could do. In the end, the Dongfang clan was just a thug. The cause of this matter was because of Feng Tianhu. If Lin Yi wanted revenge, he would definitely be the first one. As for the Dongfang clan, as long as they bowed their heads and admitted their mistakes, it would be fine. After all, Lin Yi didn't lose anything. But Feng Tianhu was different. Let Feng Tianhu bow his head? Wouldn't that be admitting Su Shihan's identity, and he also had to bow his head to Feng Tianlin? Then would he still compete for the position of the head of the clan? Wouldn't Feng Nidian die in vain? Let him give up, he was not willing. However, now the Dongfang clan obviously retreated, and he himself was not Lin Yi's opponent. Feng Tianhu had no way, his face was gloomy, but his voice didn't change. "Okay, Elder Dongfang, if that's the case, I'm relieved." Hanging up the phone, Feng Tianhu stomped his feet and walked to the Feng clan's ancestral hall. There was Feng Nitian's tablet. He wanted to calm down and think of a better way to deal with Lin Yi and Su Shihan. If Lin Yi didn't die, he wouldn't be satisfied. Looking at Feng Nitian's tablet, Feng Tianhu secretly vowed in his heart that he must teach Lin Yi a lesson. But now, he didn't have a helper. With his own strength, there was no way to shake Lin Yi. Next, he should find a new helper. Who would it be? Right. The Everyday and Everyday sect. Feng Nitian suddenly remembered that the Everyday and Everyday sect had lost a disciple as well, and it was an important disciple, the disciple of the Pure Yang Sky Master, Pure Yin Sky Master. With this person dead, the Everyday and Everyday sect would be furious, wouldn't they? That was a Sky Class late phase peak, a full cycle master. Although Feng Tianhu knew that this path was full of danger, there was no point in being afraid and regretting it now. He was forced to this point, and if Feng Nitian didn't die, he might have given up and not fight for anything. But Feng Nitian was dead, and he was forced to a dead end. Even if he was afraid, he had to continue. For himself, for his dead son, Feng Tianhu's face flashed with a trace of ferocious madness. The Everyday and Everyday Sun sect and the Five Elements sect were large sects that had stepped down from the primeval level. The main characters of their sects all had soul jade tablets. Only after this person perished would the jade tablet shatter. Now that Pure Yin Empyrean's jade tablet had shattered, the patrolling disciple was startled and hurriedly reported it to Pure Yang Empyrean. What? Brother Pure Yin is dead? The Pure Yang Sky Master was shocked as well. He didn't care about anything else and quickly reported it to Zhong Pingliang. Zhong Pingliang's face was very ugly as well. He knew about the soul jade plate. When he died, his soul jade plate was broken as well, but he had a secret technique to preserve his soul for future possession. Pure Yin Sky Master, on the other hand, didn't have any secret technique. Death was death, the plate wouldn't lie. Chapter 3167. I'll go ask House Dongfang now and see if they have any news. Don't let them escape and let Pure Yin be cannon fodder, I won't let them go. Pure Yang nodded and was about to call Dongfang jinxing, but before he could make the call, he received a call from an unknown number. Pure Yang didn't think much about it, thinking that it was someone from House Dongfang. He picked up the phone. Hello, I'm Pure Yang. Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang, I'm Feng Tianhu from the ancient Feng family. Have you heard of my name? Feng Tianhu asked carefully. The Everyday and Everyday sect was a powerful existence, he had to be careful. Ancient House Feng? I know this, but Feng Tianhu doesn't. Pure Yang Heavenly Venerate frowned. He didn't know why the Feng family called him. I'm Feng Nitian's father, the one who got crippled by Lin Yi. Feng Tianhu quickly introduced himself. Oh. Feng Nitian? Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang finally remembered. I have an impression of this. What's the matter, Feng Tianhu? It's like this. Lin Yi has already killed Pure Yin and Dongfang clan's Dongfang Yinxing. I'm here to inform you, Feng Tianhu said. What? Dongfang Yinxing of House Dongfang is dead? Pure Yang froze. He had guessed that Dongfang Yinxing was using Pure Yin as cannon fodder, but it seemed like that wasn't the case. Both of them were dead. Yes, they were killed by Lin Yi, Feng Tianhu said. Oh. Then how did you know about this? This doesn't have anything to do with your ancient house Feng, right? What role did you play in this? Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang's tone turned cold as he questioned. Pure Yang, I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. Actually, the Dongfang family's matter was caused by me. Feng Tianhu didn't hide anything and told Pure Yang Empyrean about how he wanted to touch Su Shihan, as well as the enmity between him and Lin Yi. These things weren't secrets anymore. Feng Tianhu wasn't afraid of anything. Oh. In other words, the people of the Dongfang family died because of you? Empyrean Pure Yang frowned. What do you mean by calling me? Could it be that you just want to inform me that Chun Yin has also fallen? Pure Yang Empyrean was a little confused about what Feng Tianhu meant. Even if the Dongfang family died because of Feng Tianhu, but there was no need to inform the everyday sect. What was this person's intention? He didn't die because of that. When the matter was exposed, Dongfang Xiaocui had already told Dongfang Jinxing to stop. After that, it was all between the Dongfang family and Lin Yi, Feng Tianhu said. If that's the case, then there's no need for you to tell me this. What are you trying to say? The more heavenly venerable Pure Yang listened, the more puzzled he became. What I want to say is that we have a common enemy, and that's Lin Yi. Feng Tianhu said, right now, the Dongfang clan is greatly weakened. They don't want to participate anymore, but your sect definitely won't let this go, right? At that time, you and I will join hands to deal with Lin Yi. You and I work together? You are representing yourself. Or the ancient Feng family? Pure Yang Empyrean asked faintly, unmoved at all. After all, in his eyes, even the ancient Feng family wasn't a very powerful existence. This. Of course, it's me. Feng Tianhu said a little awkwardly. All right, I got it. I'll talk to Master about this matter with Patriarch Berserk Dragon. I'll give you a reply when the time comes. If there's nothing else, I'll hang up. With that, Empyrean Pure Yang hung up. Why are the people from the Feng family looking for you? Zhong Pingliang asked after Pure Yang Empyrean hung up. They're looking for me to work together. It's like this. Pure Yang Empyrean repeated what Feng Tianhu said. Oh. With his level of strength, he wants to get even with Lin Yi? Is he an idiot? Zhong Pingliang snorted in disdain. I know Lin Yi too well. This person has endless trump cards. It's a piece of cake for him to fight someone stronger than him. The main thing is that this person is very cunning. He's very good at pretending to be weak. The strength we see now might not be his true strength. In the past, I suffered a few losses in his hands. Even my kidney was cut off. So, before we figure out how strong Lin Yi is and how many trump cards he has, it's not recommended to provoke Lin Yi. Otherwise, you'll just be sending yourself to your death. Master, then we won't participate in this matter? Pure Yin's death, are we just going to let it go? Pure Yang Empyrean felt that Zhong Pingliang's words made sense. However, giving up just like that would be letting Lin Yi off easy. Of course not, but you have to endure it for now. Otherwise, you'll just be sending yourself to your death. Do you think you can deal with Lin Yi? Zhong Pingliang asked. That's true. Pure Yang Empyrean nodded. Then I'll go tell Feng Tianhu now that we won't participate in this matter. Tell him that we won't participate. However, if he wants to deal with Lin Yi, that's fine too. Zhong Pingliang thought about it and said, isn't there a blood-cloth underworld sect in the ancient world that specializes in paying to assassinate cultivators? I think you can remind Feng Tianhu and let him hire people from the blood-cloth underworld sect to kill Lin Yi. That's a good idea. If it succeeds, then so be it. If it doesn't, we won't lose anything. Pure Yang Empyrean agreed. Master, you think too much. It's not that I think too much. I'm also holding back my anger. I can't swallow this anger because of Lin Yi. Zhong Pingliang sighed and said, however, because I know Lin Yi better than anyone, I also know that this revenge can't be avenged in a short period of time. I've endured for so long before, so a little longer won't matter. I see, but I believe that once Master recovers his strength, killing Lin Yi will be an easy and pleasant matter. Pure Yang Empyrean said. I hope so. Zhong Pingliang nodded. By the way, help me find someone and help me kill someone. Oh. Master, who do you want to kill? Pure Yang Empyrean was slightly stunned. Other than Lin Yi, you have other enemies? Chapter 3168. Oh, okay. Master, is this person also a cultivator? What is his strength level? Pure Yang asked. This person is an Earth-class master. I don't know exactly how strong he is now, but I think it's definitely not Heaven-class. Zhong Pingliang said, send someone to kill him. Any Heaven-class master should be enough, right? Okay, but to be on the safe side, it's better to send a master with the strength of the peak late stage of Heaven-class. With Lin Yi's lesson this time, we have to be careful. It's better to be safe than sorry. Pure Yang suggested. You're right. Find the person, I'll explain it to him. Zhong Pingliang pondered for a moment and nodded. The everyday sect had a lot of experts. A Pure Yin Empyrean had died, and the one who came this time was a junior apprentice of Pure Yang Empyrean's generation. He was called Pure Cold Empyrean. In this generation, anyone who reached the heaven rank would be given the title of Empyrean. Pure Cold greets the Supreme Sect Master, Mad Dragon Patriarch. Pure Cold Master saw Zhong Pingliang and quickly bowed respectfully. Pure Cold, this time, I want you to help me kill a person. Pure Yang has told you, right? Zhong Pingliang asked. Replying to Mad Dragon Patriarch, I already know. The person I killed is called Tang Yuqi, a detective who returned from overseas. Pure Cold Master nodded and said. Okay, the purpose of your trip this time is to kill this Tang Yuqi. Don't get involved in other things. Do you hear me? Especially avoid Lin Yi. You know about the Pure Yin, right? Pinliang paused for a moment before asking. I know. Don't worry, Mad Dragon Patriarch, I will hide from Lin Yi. I also heard about Lin Yi's matter. I'm not a match for this kind of person at all. He can kill 2 masters with the strength of the peak late stage of Heaven class. It's definitely easy to deal with me, so I won't be stupid enough to die. Pure Cold Master said. That's good. I don't want our everyday sect to suffer any more losses. Zhong Pingliang said, when you see Lin Yi, you must hide far away. Don't provoke him. Otherwise, your death will be in vain, and I won't be able to avenge you for the time being. Yes, I understand. I'll be careful, August Patriarch Wild Dragon. When I see Lin Yi, I hide far away. Pure Cold Master was actually quite afraid. Even if Zhong Pinliang didn't say anything, he wouldn't dare to provoke Lin Yi casually. Lin Yi wasn't a normal person at all. Whoever provoked him would die. He hadn't lived long enough. All right. Go ahead and investigate before taking action. Zhong Pingliang waved his hand, indicating that Pure Cold Skymaster could go. All right. Pure Cold Empyrean cupped his fists and retreated. Only Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang and Zhong Pingliang were left. Pinliang stood up and said to Pure Yang, let's go. Come with me to see Pao Zi. As long as Lin Yi doesn't die, he'll be able to survive. I wonder if he'll be able to overcome his inner demons. Yeah, Naipeo is the hope of our sect. Don't go on like this. Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang said worriedly. Then what should we do? Zhong Pingliang frowned. There's still a way to burn the boats. Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang thought about it and said, Master, this method has a certain degree of danger, but it can also succeed. Oh. What method? Tell me. Zhong Pingliang was instantly interested. As long as Zhang Naipeo could recover, taking a little risk was worth it. The way now is to provoke him again. Attack him with all your strength. If you attack him too much, you might be able to stimulate the desire for revenge in his body. This way, he can also walk out of his inner demons. Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang said. What about the consequences? Zhong Pingliang asked. If it doesn't succeed, then Naipeo will sink deeper and deeper. It might be even more difficult for him to walk out of this shadow of failure. He'll be in his inner demons for the rest of his life. Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang said. In that case. If it's not good, it'll at most be worse. But the current situation isn't much better than worse. There's no harm in trying. Zhong Pingliang thought about it for a moment and nodded. All right, let's go and try it now. As long as we exaggerate Lin Yi's capabilities and tell Naipeo about Pure Yin's death, it'll be enough. Heavenly Venerate Pure Yang said quickly after seeing that Zhong Pingliang had agreed. In fact, he wanted to give it a try as well. If it didn't work, he'd die trying. He was just afraid that Zhong Pingliang wouldn't agree to it. Now that Zhong Pingliang agreed, there was no problem. As they spoke, the two arrived at Naipeo's resting place. They opened the door and saw Naipeo sitting quietly on the bed with a dull look in his eyes. It seemed like Naipeo was still stuck in his own inner demons and hadn't come out. "Pao, I'm here to see you." Zhong Pingliang sighed and said, "I wanted to kill Lin Yi and avenge you. I didn't expect Lin Yi to be so strong. Even Pure Yin died in Lin Yi's hands. Lin Yi can actually kill two Sky-class late-phase peak masters at the same time. I really don't know what to do with him now." "That's right, Naipeo. Lin Yi is very talented, and the arts he practices are very magical. He can fight enemies above his level. He's the number one in every level. It was the same when he was at Mystic, Earth, and now Sky. Ordinary cultivators like us are not the best in a certain realm. Our only hope is you. You can be the best in a certain realm. Our hopes are all pinned on you. Only when you grow up can you get rid of Lin Yi. Otherwise, we are not his match." Pure Yang Heavenly Venerate said helplessly. "Ah. No." Naipeo suddenly roared and stood up, holding his head. "I can't accept this. I want to kill Lin Yi. I want to work hard for Liang Bro." With that, Naipeo looked like he was in pain as he spun around on the ground, screaming non-stop. Zhong Pingliang and Pure Yang looked at each other, both seeing relief in each other's eyes. Naipeo had walked out. As long as he regained his confidence, his desire for training, and his hatred for Lin Yi, everything would be fine. As expected, after a while, Naipeo's eyes became clear again, no longer cloudy and dim. Instead, they were filled with determination. "Liang Bro, Shifu, I will work hard. I will train hard and kill Lin Yi. For Master Pure Yin, for Liang Bro, I will kill Lin Yi," Naipeo said firmly. Chapter 3169. "Don't worry, Liang Bro, I don't know what happened to me before, but it was like I was possessed. I know my weakness now. I was too careless before, and I couldn't kill Lin Yi straight away. Instead, I let him drag things out, unlike Lin Yi, who always ambushes, attacks first, or tries to stall for time. I, on the other hand, was too proud and complacent. Through this incident, I've learned one thing: nothing is real, only defeating the enemy is real. There's no need to talk too much, just start the fight," Naipeo said. "Great, Naipeo, you've finally figured out what it means to fight. But, who hasn't been young and arrogant before? I have it, and so do Pure Yin and Pure Cold. It's just that we're lucky that we didn't encounter a freak like Lin Yi. Our strength can suppress the other party, but now, with Lin Yi, the number one person who isn't weaker than you, we can only place our hopes on you," Pure Yang Empyrean said. "Yeah, Pao, you need to train hard, that's the only way for us to have hope." Pin Liang smiled as he patted Naipeo's shoulder. Although Chunin was dead, Naipeo had walked out of his heart demon and returned to reality. This was something worth celebrating. As for the Pure Yang Sky Master, he went to call Feng Tianhu. "Chunyang, how is it? What did the elders say?" Feng Tianhu finally received Chunyang's call as he waited anxiously. "Feng Tianhu, the elders said that we shouldn't get involved in this for now. After all, Chunin has just fallen, and we don't have enough people to deal with Lin Yi. We haven't figured out Lin Yi's situation yet, so we'll just be sending ourselves to our deaths if we act rashly. So, you should think of a way yourself," Chunyang said. "Ah. Think of a way myself? Feng Tianhu sighed. In fact, he had guessed this would happen. After all, the everyday sect wasn't idiots, they just kill someone. Wasn't that just courting death? However, I can remind you that in the ancient times, there was a blood-cloth Yellow Spring sect. It was an assassin group. I think you should know about it. If you don't have any good people on hand, you can hire them to work for you. Pure Yang Heavenly Venerate said no more. All right. That is all I have to say. Blood-clothed Yellow Spring sect? Feng Tianhu's eyes suddenly lit up. Yes, why didn't he think of it before? If he asked the Blood Underworld sect to deal with Lin Yi, it would save him a lot of trouble. Thinking of this, Feng Tianhu said, I understand. Thank you for your advice, Heavenly Venerable Pure Yang. Good luck. Empyrean Pure Yang hung up and didn't say anything else. He was afraid that this matter would bring trouble to himself and bring him trouble. After Feng Tianhu hung up the phone, he immediately found the contact number of the Blood Cloth Underworld sect and dialed the phone number of the Blood Cloth Underworld sect's manager, Grandmaster Yin Sen. At this moment, Grandmaster Yin Sen was calling Old Man Lin to report what happened here. He told Lin Dongfang about how Pure Yin Heavenly Venerate and Dongfang Yinxing teamed up to deal with Lin Yi. Old Master, don't blame us for not reporting back. Why didn't you act on your own? You did nothing wrong. Don't blame yourselves. Lin Dongfang was also shocked and broke out in a cold sweat. If two peak late-stage heaven stage experts really went to cause trouble for Lin Yi, how would Lin Yi deal with it? Wouldn't he be dead for sure? But why didn't Mo Kongwen calculate it before? Why didn't he make a move? This made Lin Dongfang very puzzled. Yes. Could it be that Mo Kongwen had already calculated the factor of the Blood Cloth Underworld sect? Thinking about it, Lin Dongfang felt that it was very possible. After all, Mo Kongwen could even calculate the inheritors clearly. Now that it had come true, under some kind of coincidence, with the right place and identity, Lin Yi could establish a relationship with all the inheritors. Now that he thought about it, Lin Dongfang felt that it was a little unbelievable. This kind of divination technique that could change fate was no longer a simple divination technique. It was almost the same as the means of the gods. After we killed him, we asked Master to help us keep it a secret. In fact, we wanted to give this credit to Master. This way, Master can temporarily be safe for a period of time. Grandmaster Yin Sen said. You guys did well. Lin Dongfang said, however, don't interfere too much. An appropriate amount of danger is still beneficial to little Yi's growth. We understand. This time, we had no choice. As long as Master can handle it, we will definitely not interfere. Grandmaster Yin Sen said. On the other side, Grandmaster Yin Sen had just ended his phone call with Lin Dongfang when his phone rang again. Those who had his phone number were people from the ancient level. If it was an assassination mission from other levels, they would contact other people in the sect. Hello, this is Grandmaster Yin Sr. Grandmaster Yin Sen picked up the phone. Grandmaster Yin Sen, I am Feng Tianhu from the ancient Feng family. I want to do business with your sect. After Feng Tianhu picked up the phone, he went straight to the point. Because the Feng family and the Blood Cloth Underworld sect had no relationship, it was better to get straight to the point. Oh. Who do you want to kill? The ancient Feng family. Do you still need our Blood Cloth Underworld sect to do it? Grandmaster Yin Sen asked with some doubts. I want to kill someone personally. It has nothing to do with the Feng family. Feng Tianhu said, so please help me. Oh. What's the strength of this person? Grandmaster Yin Sen asked. Early heaven stage. Feng Tianhu replied. 1 billion. Grandmaster Yin Sen gave a price. Of course, this price was considered fair. It was basically the price of friendship in the ancient level. Okay, I'll send this person's information to your mailbox. Feng Tianhu didn't mention the fact that Lin Yi could fight an enemy above his level. If he did, it would only make the price of the assassination even higher. Anyway, Feng Tianhu didn't lie to the blood-cloth underworld sect. This Lin Yi was originally an expert in the early heaven stage. Soon, Grandmaster Yin Sen's mailbox received an email. However, when Grandmaster Yin Sen saw the information, his face suddenly changed. He was so angry that he dialed Feng Tianhu's number again. Grandmaster Yin Sen, how is it? When can you carry out the mission? Feng Tianhu thought that Grandmaster Yin Sen called to confirm the mission, so he didn't think much and asked directly. Chapter 3170. Ah. Feng Tianhu froze. What ah? Don't you know that Lin Yi can fight those stronger than him? Our heaven-class mid-phase master died in Lin Yi's hands, and I heard that 2 heaven-class late-phase peak masters also died in Lin Yi's hands. Do you want us to be cannon fodder or what? The Yinsen ancestor didn't give Feng Tianhu a chance to interrupt. This. But Lin Yi is indeed a heaven-class early-phase master. Feng Tianhu's forehead was covered in cold sweat. So the Blood Yellow Springs sect had already tried to assassinate Lin Yi? Still didn't succeed. And they were well informed. Lin Yi had just killed 2 heaven-class late-phase peak masters, and the Blood Yellow Springs sect already knew about it. Although he knew that the news would definitely spread after he told the Dongfang family, he didn't expect it to be so fast. It seemed like the Blood Yellow Springs sect's intelligence agency couldn't be underestimated. Feng Tianhu, I'm telling you, we won't take this job. Not only that, you will also become an unwelcome person in the Blood Yellow Springs sect. You better be careful, stay at home and don't go out. If I see you, I'll definitely kill you. The Yinsen ancestor threatened, you dare to trick us? If you said it was Lin Yi earlier, we wouldn't take this mission even if it was 10 billion. Yes. Yes, I'm really sorry, it's my negligence. Feng Tianhu was depressed. He didn't kill Lin Yi and instead offended the Blood Yellow Springs sect. It was all his fault for trying to save money, but now the Blood Yellow Springs sect wanted to kill him instead. Humph. The Yinsen ancestor hung up the phone. He threatened Feng Tianhu so that he wouldn't come out and target Lin Yi, but he couldn't make it too obvious, so he could only threaten him. Dark Phoenix Palace. After Chu Mengyao officially became the palace master of Dark Phoenix Palace, she settled down in the Dark Phoenix mountain range, in the house that Yi Wan used to live in. Mengyao had accidentally consumed a Dark Phoenix before, and the Dark Phoenix had changed her constitution, making her the same as the founder of the Dark Palace. So on the first night of her stay in the Dark Phoenix mountain range, the Dark Phoenix mountain range Mengyao successfully accepted the inheritance. That night, the Dark Phoenix mountain range shone with a golden light, illuminating the galaxy. All the disciples of the Dark Phoenix Palace felt this strange phenomenon. Under the leadership of the Grand Elder, they gathered at the training field of the Dark Phoenix mountain range to observe the strange phenomenon. He has accepted the inheritance. Elderly, Yao Yao's physique is really unparalleled, unexpectedly on the first day. He accepted the inheritance. The senior elder was extremely emotional. At this moment, tears streamed down her face. Even though she was a snobbish and mean person, one had to admit that she had no selfish motives. She had dedicated her entire life to the sect. Of course, it couldn't be said that this was right. Elderly didn't agree with the Supreme Elder's character, but there was nothing he could do. Everyone had their own way of doing things. He couldn't ask the Supreme Elder to change it. Fortunately, Mengyao had accepted the inheritance, and her position in the Dark Phoenix Palace had risen. She was truly below one person and above 10,000 people. Moreover, this was just a saying. With the miscurrent position, the Grand Elder might not dare to refute her words. The two were in the Dark Phoenix Palace. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that they were on equal footing. Elder Li's position rose as well. He was Yuan, her supporter, so naturally, he was also Menyao's supporter. The Grand Elder also used him again, and his position in the Dark Phoenix Palace was only below the Grand Elder and Mengyao. Grand Elder, let's go get the mantra of the Dark Palace and let Yao Yao choose one to cultivate. Elderly reminded. After accepting the inheritance, she could officially start training, and the training speed would be very fast. Alright, we'll go now. The Grand Elder nodded and went to the library with Elderly. In actuality, the Dark Phoenix Palace had two high-level arts of the gold element. One was called the Art of the Golden Rooster Cry, and the other was the Art of the Phoenix Silkworm. The Grand Elder and Yuan both practiced the Art of the Golden Rooster Cry, and the Art of the Phoenix Silkworm could only be trained by the inheritor. Yuan was training while waiting for the inheritance, so naturally she chose the Art of the Golden Rooster Cry. I wonder if Yao Yao can train the Art of the Phoenix Silkworm? Elderly said hesitantly as he looked at the two arts the Grand Elder took out. I hope so. The Grand Elder also hoped that Mengyao could train in the Art of the Phoenix Silkworm. This art was stronger than the Art of the Golden Rooster Cry. Although both could allow one to break through to Sky Class Late Phase Peak, the Art of the Phoenix Silkworm had more benefits. However, not everyone could train in this art. Up until now, only the founder of the Dark Phoenix body could train in this art. The others couldn't. Mengyao, on the other hand, had the same physique as the Grandmaster, and the way she received it was the same. Naturally, the Grand Elder was looking forward to it, hoping that Mengyao could train in the Silkworm Phoenix art as well. After choosing the arts, the two went up to the Dark Phoenix mountain range. At this moment, the golden light was starting to dim, and the sky was starting to turn white. Morning was almost here. When the golden light disappeared completely, the Grand Elder and Elderly looked at each other, knowing that the inheritance had ended. And so, the two pushed the door open and entered Menyao's room. Mengyao was sitting cross-legged on the cushion, resting, evidently still in the illusion of the inheritance. The two didn't rush her, and they didn't disturb her. They just stood there and waited. After another hour or so, Mengyao slowly woke up. She opened her eyes and saw the Grand Elder and Elderly, but she didn't stand up to greet them. She was the palace master, and she didn't need to greet the Grand Elder. Grand Elder, Elderly, you're here? Mengyao said. I've received the inheritance, and the feeling is the same as in my dream. It's the same as in the records of the Dark Palace. This feeling, it's so mysterious. Can I start cultivating now? That's right. The Grand Elder was pleasantly surprised. Elderly and I came here this time to prepare the mantra for you. I have 2 mantra here, you can choose. With that, the Grand Elder passed the 2 manuals to Mengyao. Chapter 3171. This. The name's a little weird, but they're all good stuff. The Grand Elder smiled. Elderly and I suggest that you practice the art of the Silkworm Phoenix summoning. It's better than the Golden Rooster Cry. It's the best one we have, and it's the one that's most compatible with the inheritor. Oh. What did this mantra mean? What's the benefit? Mengyao thought about it. The name of the art Lin Yi was practicing was pretty lame, so she picked up the art of the Silkworm Phoenix summoning and asked. This mantra is said to be a mantra created by the silkworm in ancient times. Our ancestor discovered that this mantra is very compatible with the dark phoenix physique of our Dark Night Palace, and after she cultivated it, she was indeed very powerful. But we don't have the dark phoenix body, so we weren't able to practice it. The Grand Elder explained. Silkworm? Who's that? Mengyao blinked. Silkworm, the wife of Emperor Shenyuan in the ancient times. He had 4 concubines and 10 concubines, and Silkworm was his first wife. The Grand Elder explained. Ah. Silkworm is Xuanyuan's wife? The eldest miss blushed without warning. She was a little shy, but also a little sweet. This caused the Supreme Elder and Elderly to be a little dumbfounded. Palace Lord, what's going on? Meng Yao was quick to connect the dots. Lin Yi's art was called the art of dragon mastery, and hers was called the art of the silkworm phoenix summoning. Xianyuan and silkworm, dragon and phoenix, all corresponded with each other. Didn't that mean that she and Lin Yi corresponded with each other as well? The miss started blushing at the thought. Silkworm was Xuanyuan's first wife? Was she the same? Yes, it should be, they kissed before, and that meant they were in love. The miss started thinking about random things, ahem. Palace master, what's wrong? Elderly couldn't help but ask. Ah. Nothing. Meng Yao, of course, couldn't say what she was thinking. She shook her head quickly. I'm training in the silkworm phoenix art, it's pretty good, the name's pretty good too. Of course. The Grand Elder was puzzled as well. Meng Yao was just saying that the name was weird, why did it sound nice now? But, the Grand Elder didn't want to know about these things. It was enough as long as Meng Yao practiced the best arts. Yao Yao, this mantra, we haven't practiced it before, you have to figure it out yourself. If you don't understand anything, you can find us to discuss it together. Alright, I understand. Meng Yao nodded, her expression returning to normal. Then Elderly and I will return first. The very high elder said, you have successfully accepted the inheritance, this is an important piece of news. I will go inform the sect disciples and congratulate them. Alright. Meng Yao stood up and sent the Grand Elder and Elderly off before returning to the cushion. She looked at the silkworm phoenix art in her hands, a sweet smile on her face. She might not be by Lin Yi's side for now, but the next time she went back, she believed that she'd be strong enough to be Lin Yi's right hand. At that thought, Meng Yao opened up the silkworm phoenix art in her hands and started reading the mantra. The art of silkworm exorcism phoenix was a line of large words, and below those words was the text of the mantra. First stage, Sky Silkworm. Mortals are like ants, how can they change the path of Tao and control the world? Meng Yao frowned slightly at the tone, but continued reading anyway. The first stage of the phoenix summoning art was separated into early, mid, and late stages. Of course, there weren't any clear boundaries, and there wasn't any level barrier either. She'd be able to reach the completion of the first stage as long as she kept accumulating and working hard. After the first stage, there was the second, the third. But Meng Yao didn't look at them. To her, mastering the first stage was the most important thing. Back in the common world, Meng Yao had always wanted to become a practitioner, and now that she had the chance, she didn't rest. She started training day and night. Training didn't take time, and in the blink of an eye, Meng Yao had spent more than half a month in the dark Phoenix mountain range. Perhaps it was because of the abundance of energy in the mountain range, and the fact that she was an inheritor, her training speed could be said to be 1,000 miles a day. The silkworm phoenix art wasn't easy to train, but the Miss willpower was amazing. She didn't need to sleep to train every day, and it was similar to Lin Yi's willpower when he first started on the path of cultivation. It was this godlike speed of training and her hard-working attitude that made the Grand Elder value Meng Yao more and more. She saw Meng Yao as the hope of the sect's resurgence. In such a short period of time, Meng Yao had already gone from a normal person to the peak of the late phase of the golden class. There was no level barrier for inheritors who successfully received the inheritance, so not only was Meng Yao's training fast, but she also had no bottlenecks. As long as she broke through with the mantra, it would be very easy for her to become a sky class. But, the Dark Phoenix mantra of the Dark Palace wasn't that easy to train. Meng Yao may be a golden class late phase peak now, but the mantra was still stuck at the first stage, and she hadn't broken through to the second stage. As a result, Meng Yao's training speed slowed down as well. The first stage of the mantra couldn't absorb the energy from the heaven and earth anymore, and it wasn't enough for her to break through to the early phase of the mystic class. So, Meng Yao chose to take a break for now. Ever since Meng Yao stepped onto the path of cultivation, she could be considered to have full control over the Dark Palace. The Grand Elder didn't interfere with Meng Yao's matters anymore, and Meng Yao could communicate with the outside world as she wished. The first thing Meng Yao wanted to do after finishing her training was to call home. As for who to call first, Meng Yao didn't even think about it before calling the villa's number. In fact, Meng Yao had wanted to call Pengzhan and ask her mother how Yi Wan was doing, but she couldn't help but dial the villa's number when she picked up the phone. Chapter 3172. Although, during these days of training in the Palace of Darkness, Meng Yao would sometimes regret not understanding her feelings earlier when she returned to reality from her training state. She didn't say it until they were separated, but Meng Yao was glad that she wouldn't be able to understand her feelings if it wasn't for this separation. The phone rang a few times, but no one picked up. After a while, it turned into an automated message. "Hello, this is the home of the universe's super invincible cute genius prophecy secret detective, Shu 007. If you want to leave a message for Shu, please press 1. If you want to leave a message for Shield Bro, please press 2. If you want to leave a message for Yao Yao sis, please hang up, she's on a long trip, pft." Meng Yao almost burst out laughing at the last line. She knew the first few lines of the autograph, since she'd had it at home. The second line was obviously Yushu's doing. But, Meng Yao was puzzled. Where did the people in the villa go? Why wasn't anyone picking up? Meng Yao looked at the time subconsciously, realizing that it was already midnight. She trained day and night, and didn't really care about the time. In the Palace of Darkness, there were disciples on duty day and night, and the strong practitioners basically used training as a replacement for sleep. But, even if it was midnight, Lin Yi should still be picking up the phone. Besides, if it was midnight, there should be someone in the house, right? Meng Yao dialed Lin Yi's number curiously, wanting to ask him where he was. On Lin Yi's side, he had Chen Tian and San Huang take care of Pure Yin and Dongfang Yinxing's bodies. Not long after he returned to the villa, his phone rang. Seeing the familiar caller ID, Lin Yi's heart skipped a beat. This was the miscalling? Yao Yao? Lin Yi picked up, a little surprised. It's me, Lin Yi. Are you alright? Meng Yao's voice was calm, just like how she always sounded when she called Lin Yi. There was a natural warmth in her voice. I'm fine, how about you? Lin Yi didn't tell Meng Yao about the 2 Sky-class late-phase peak masters. He didn't want Meng Yao to worry. Since it was over, it didn't matter anymore. I'm fine too. My position in the Palace of Darkness is even higher than Xiao Xiao's in the Ice Palace. The Grand Elder doesn't really care about me now, so I'm quite free. Meng Yao was a little proud of herself. It seemed that she wasn't the most useless one. At the very least, she was pretty good among all of Lin Yi's women. That's good. Lin Yi nodded. This was what he was most worried about. He'd be relieved if Meng Yao was fine in the Palace of Darkness. You've already started training? How's the progress? It's pretty good. The mental cultivation method I cultivate is called the art of silkworm driving phoenix. It has a strange reputation, just like your mental cultivation method. Both are weird. Meng Yao didn't mention the connection between the two, but she believed that with Lin Yi's intelligence, he'd be able to figure it out easily. The miss knew how to hint now. Art of silkworm driving phoenix? Lin Yi paused. She knew who the silkworm was. She was the wife of Shenyuan Emperor, and the name of Meng Yao's mental cultivation method was very similar to his own. Lin Yi didn't believe that Meng Yao didn't notice it, and he felt that the miss was hinting at something as well. He smiled. Yeah, it's pretty much the same as mine. Maybe it's the same type of mental cultivation method. Who knows, we might even be able to train together. Die. The miss blushed a little. Although she confessed her feelings to Lin Yi, it was just a confession after all. The two of them didn't get together after that. Although there were some flirtatious moments in their lives, they weren't in a relationship. The miss was still very shy at this moment. She wasn't used to Lin Yi's teasing. I'm just joking. I'm a golden class late phase peak now. It's about the same as when you first came to Songshan. Oh, That's fast. Lin Yi was a little surprised. Not bad. The miss said proudly. Right, where's Shu? Why didn't you guys pick up the phone? Oh, we were doing something in the yard, not in the villa, Lin Yi said vaguely. You? With Shu? In the yard in the middle of the night? Meng Yao's tone was a little weird. Lin Yi, don't tell me you were having sex with Shu in the wild? Ugh. Lin Yi paused. He didn't know if he should laugh or cry. However, he couldn't blame Meng Yao for thinking too much. Lin Yi's tone was indeed a little mysterious. It made people suspicious. Lin Yi smiled. Are you jealous, Yao Yao? Jealous? Wouldn't you have died if you wanted to be jealous? What did Xiao Xiao, Xinyan, and Jing Jing say? Meng Yao said impatiently. Besides, it's not a big deal if it's Shu. She always wants to be a small wife, I'm used to it, man, it's just 2 guests. Let's go check it out. Lin Yi smiled bitterly, Shu and I, if we wanted to do something, it would have happened a long time ago. There's no need to wait for you to leave. It's not like you don't know what kind of person Shu is. She doesn't need to hide from you if she wants to do something. That's true. Meng Yao nodded. She felt that she was overthinking. As long as you're fine. I'll give my dad a call and Shu a call. If you need anything, just text me. I'll turn off my phone when I'm cultivating. I'll contact you after I finish cultivating and see your text. Okay, Yao Yao. Take care. Lin Yi said. Alright, I'm fine here. Don't worry. Meng Yao smiled. After hanging up, Lin Yi relaxed a little. It seemed that Meng Yao was doing well in the Palace of Darkness. Lin Yi couldn't help but admire the Mississippi. She had a strong aura and was able to control the situation. Meng Yao's second call was to Peng Zhan. Yao Yao? Peng Zhan was a businessman. Naturally, he wouldn't turn off his phone. He was surprised and happy when he received Meng Yao's call. There was no news from Meng Yao ever since she left. Peng Zhan was worried, but there was nothing he could do. After all, he knew the Palace of Darkness better than anyone. If he could contact them, then he could. If he couldn't, then there was nothing he could do. It had been so many years, and there was no news from Yiwan, Meng Yao had just left. How could he expect any news from her? So Peng Zhan was prepared to not see his daughter for 10 years. Chapter 3173. It's me, Daddy, I miss you. Meng Yao heard Peng Zhan's voice, filled with emotions. I miss you too, Yao Yao, how are you doing in the Palace of Darkness? How come you can call me? Did the Grand Elder allow you to contact the outside world? Have you been in contact with Lin Yi? Peng Zhan asked a bunch of questions. I'm the Palace Master of the Palace of Darkness now, no one can stop me from doing what I want here. Meng Yao said proudly, Daddy, don't worry about me, I'm fine here, the Grand Elder won't ask anything of me. Ah. Peng Zhan was startled, he didn't expect Meng Yao to be this powerful. Yiwan used to be the Palace Master of the Palace of Darkness, but she didn't have much power. Meng Yao, on the other hand, was different. She just entered the Palace of Darkness and had already obtained the position she deserved. Daddy, I've successfully accepted the inheritance, and I'm now a golden class late phase peak, so the Grand Elder is very happy, Meng Yao explained, right, have you seen Mommy? Are you guys alright? Your mom? Peng Zhan paused, quickly asking, Yao Yao, you said that your mom is back? Yeah, you didn't see her? Meng Yao was shocked, thinking that there wouldn't be a problem, would there? One had to know that Yiwan had gone back half a month ago, why wasn't she home yet? No, could it be that your mom is back? Peng Zhan was shocked as well, suddenly realizing that something was wrong. Daddy, wait, I'll contact you later. Meng Yao was panicking. Logically speaking, with Yi Wan, her sky class early phase strength, there shouldn't be any danger. But Yi Wan, did go back, but she didn't go home, so where could she go? Even if she was a sky class early phase, Meng Yao didn't feel at ease. After all, the Dongfang people were all sky class masters, and Yi Wan, really wasn't their match. So Meng Yao had to find Yi Wan, as soon as possible. Okay, if you have news of your mom, let me know immediately. Peng Zhan was panicking as well. Meng Yao hung up. He immediately went to look for the Grand Elder. Now, Meng Yao had a lot of authority in the Palace of Darkness. She could go in and out of any place she wanted, something Yi Wan never had before. Even the Grand Elder's residence. Meng Yao could also enter without notifying anyone, and this was also the reason why the Grand Elder could come and ask Meng Yao whenever she had any problems during her training. So now, the disciples of the Dark Palace could see that Meng Yao was the real palace master, different from when Yi Wan, was on the throne. The era of the Supreme Elder's word was already over. No one dared to go against Meng Yao's words. Whatever she said, it was the same as what the Grand Elder said. That was authority. Greetings, Palace Master. The maid beside the Grand Elder used to be a very powerful existence. He wouldn't be polite to Yi Wan, but to Meng Yao, he was very respectful. They knew very well that Meng Yao wanted them dead. The Grand Elder didn't hesitate at all. Yao Yao, you're here. Grand Elder warmly welcomed her. She was all smiles when she saw Meng Yao. The more she looked, the more satisfied she was. Grand Elder, I called my father just now, and he said that my mother didn't go back to Donghai. Didn't our people escort her back? Meng Yao asked directly. What? Wan didn't go back? That's impossible, it's our people who accompanied her all the way to Peng Zhan's company. How could they not have gone back? The elder paused, puzzled. All the way to the company? But my father said that he didn't see her. Meng Yao's heart skipped a beat. Did something really happen? Yao Yao, don't worry. I'll call the Dark Shadow Group right away. We still have people in the East Ocean City. Especially after Wan went back, I asked Elderly to send more people. They didn't report any bad news, which means that Wan is fine. The Grand Elder said and sent someone to call Elderly. Elderly regained control of the Dark Shadow Group because of Meng Yao, and his power in the Palace of Darkness was at its peak. After Elderly arrived, the Grand Elder told Elderly about Yi Wan's situation and said, Elderly, go ask the members of the Dark Shadow Group in East Ocean City where Wan is right now. Okay, I'll go ask now. Elderly said and went to make the call. About 10 minutes later, Elderly came back with a weird look on his face and said to Meng Yao and the Grand Elder, Palace Master, the Dark Shadow Group said that Elder Yi is staying in a hotel opposite Peng Zhan Industries in Donghai. She's been staying in the hotel ever since she came to Donghai. She'll go out occasionally and take a look at Peng Zhan's place, but she won't stay overnight. She'll come back to stay at night. Staying in a hotel nearby? So my mom didn't meet my dad? She goes home at night and only stays outside? Meng Yao heard this and felt that it was strange. Yes, but we can't be sure. After all, the Dark Shadow Group can't follow too closely. Elder Yi is also a sky class, she'll be discovered if she gets too close. Elderly said. Then. Do you have any way of contacting my mom? Meng Yao asked. Yes, but we need to get the Dark Shadow Group to look for her in the hotel room because Elder Yi doesn't have a phone or any other communication tools. Elderly said and suddenly thought of something. There's another way, which is to find the number in her hotel room and call her directly. Then we'll go with the second method. Elderly, go check it out now. Meng Yao said. Okay, I'll go ask them now. Elderly nodded. After a while, Elderly came back and passed a piece of paper with a phone number to Yi Wan, and said, Palace Master, this is the number in Elder Ye's room. Meng Yao let out a sigh of relief and nodded. She took the phone number and walked out of the room to call her mother Yiwan. The grand elder and elderly didn't follow her out, obviously not wanting to eavesdrop on Meng Yao. Chapter 3174. Mom. Meng Yao's heart ached when she heard the voice. She couldn't understand why her mother would hide in the hotel and not meet her father. Yao Yao? Warner paused, not expecting Meng Yao to call her in her hotel room. But after a while, she understood that the Dark Palace's Dark Shadow group must be paying attention to her, so it wasn't surprising that Meng Yao could get her number. You got my number from the Dark Shadow group? Yes, elderly just gave it to me, Meng Yao said. Yao Yao, Mom is very happy. It seems like you really have a foothold in the Dark Palace, and you've obtained the power of the Palace Master. Wan sighed. She had been in the Dark Palace for so many years, how would she dare to call home? But Meng Yao dared, and not only that, elderly also regained his power. All of this was probably brought by Yao Yao. Wan couldn't understand her daughter. Although the two looked similar, her daughter was much stronger than her. Yes, Mom, let's not talk about this first. Why don't you meet Dad? He misses you a lot. Meng Yao quickly asked. Yao Yao. Wan fell silent. She returned to Donghai, but she didn't go see Pengzhan immediately because she was excited and worried. It had been so many years, and she hadn't seen Pengzhan. How could she not be excited? However, her daughter had sacrificed herself for her return, and Pengzhan had lost his daughter in exchange for his wife. As a result, Yiwan didn't dare face Pengzhan. After all these years, she hadn't fulfilled her duty as a wife, and Pengzhan hadn't found anyone else, not even a lover. This made Wan feel very guilty. She felt that she owed Pengzhan, and didn't know how to face him, so she hid in the hotel and watched Pengzhan secretly, not daring to meet him. Mom, what's wrong? Is there something you can't say? Meng Yao was confused. I don't know how to face your dad. It's been so many years, and I can't be by his side. I can't even call him. I suddenly appeared and came back, and I don't dare to go see him. Wan smiled bitterly and told Meng Yao her worries. Wan words made Meng Yao not know whether to laugh or cry. She could only comfort her. Mother, don't worry. It's a good thing that you're back. It's not your fault, it's the rules of the Palace of Darkness. Aren't they all fine now? Now think about it, your mother is too weak. What rules? Yao Yao, you can ignore these rules. But I can't. Yi Waner blamed herself. It's not the same, actually. Meng Yao smiled, comforting her. Mom, I've accepted the inheritance. That's why in the Palace of Darkness, their words carry enormous weight. But you didn't accept the inheritance, so it's not your fault. You've already accepted the inheritance? Yi Wan was a little surprised. He didn't expect Meng Yao to accept the inheritance so quickly. So. Only the Grand Elder would give me the greatest support and freedom, but you're different, so you don't have to blame yourself. Hurry up and find Daddy, he already knows that you're back. If you don't go now, he'll definitely come looking for you. Meng Yao said. You've already told him? Yi Waner was startled. Naturally, she knew how much Pengzhan cared about her. She could tell from the fact that Pengzhan hadn't had anything with other women in years, so it was possible that Pengzhan would come looking for her. So you need to make a decision quickly. Meng Yao said. How about this, Yao Yao, give me a few more days to get used to it. I've left the Palace of Darkness, and it's been a long time since I've come to the common world. I want to calm down for a few more days. Yi Waner said. Then. All right. Meng Yao didn't force Yi Waner anymore. She knew that her mother and herself were people with many things on their minds. They were always hesitating, just like how she was with Lin Yi. But after hanging up, Meng Yao dialed Pengzhan's number again. Sometimes, people with this kind of personality needed someone to add fuel to the fire. Meng Yao herself was the same. If it wasn't for Shu, she wouldn't have been able to confess to Lin Yi so smoothly. So, this time, she needed to be the one to add fuel to the fire. Yao Yao, how's it going? Did you find your mother? Peng Zhan had been watching the phone the whole time. He quickly picked it up when Meng Yao called. Dad, go to the XX hotel opposite your company, room 2901. Don't tell anyone I told you. Meng Yao said. Go to the hotel? Peng Zhan paused and understood immediately. He smiled, all right, Yao Yao, I'll go right now. I won't tell your mother. You were the one who told me she was at the hotel. Ha. Meng Yao laughed. Actually, Yi Waner could guess it even if Peng Zhan didn't tell her. After hanging up, Meng Yao let out a sigh of relief. Now that she was done, she needed to go back and call Shu. This call would probably last the whole night. This was one of the reasons why she called Shu in the end. Peng Zhan quickly washed up and changed into a suit. He stood in front of the mirror and fixed his hair. In the past, Peng Zhan cared a lot about his image. He would fix his hair properly when he went to business, but he had never been as serious as he was today. Peng Zhan fixed his hair again and again. However, he couldn't help but sigh when he saw the white hair on his temples in the mirror. No matter what, he was old. In the blink of an eye, he became a middle-aged man. He wondered what Yi Waner looked like now. Although, in his impression, Yi Waner still looked like Meng Yao, Peng Zhan knew that Yi Waner must be old now. However, no matter what Yi Waner looked like, Peng Zhan's heart never changed. He couldn't wait to see Yi Waner. Finally, looking at the image in the mirror, Peng Zhan was satisfied. He rushed out of the door and drove to the hotel opposite his company. However, when he passed by a vending machine, Peng Zhan hesitated and stopped the car. He fiddled with the vending machine and got a small box. Chapter 3175. Peng Zhan had already made up his mind. He was prepared to let Faubert or Sun Jingyi take care of the business, and then take Yi Waner on a trip to Las Vegas, to reminisce about his youth. Although Mr. Yang had disappeared for a long time, Peng Zhan couldn't forget those times. He parked the car in front of the hotel, and because his car was very high class, the security didn't question him. Peng Zhan took the elevator to the 29th floor, and came to room 2901. He was so excited that his breathing quickened. He reached out his hand, wanting to knock on the door, but couldn't bring himself to do so. Wan Er was a heaven-class early phase master. She could feel it immediately when someone approached the door. She thought it was a waiter, but after waiting for a long time, no one knocked on the door. The person at the door still hadn't left. Wan Er suspected that the person at the door was from the Dark Palace, so she didn't think much. She walked to the door and suddenly opened it. She wanted to see who was secretly following her. If it was the old Yi Waner, she wouldn't have done this. Although she was the palace master in name, the people under her didn't listen to her at all. They wouldn't care if she was being followed, but it was different now. Meng Yao had a firm foothold in the Dark Palace, and with that, these people had to respect Yi Waner. Otherwise, if they pissed Meng Yao off, they'd end up like Zhao Qibing cleaning the toilet. But when the door opened, Yi Waner froze when she saw the person at the door. Peng Zhan didn't expect the door to open abruptly, and jumped in fright. But when he saw Yi Waner in the room, he was stunned. Yi Waner looked the same as when she left. There weren't many changes, just like when she gave birth to Meng Yao. She'd seen Peng Zhan from afar before, but this was the first time she'd seen him up close. She felt a little sad as she looked at Peng Zhan's white sideburns. She'd been gone for so many years, leaving Peng Zhan alone at home. He didn't even call. Yi Waner's tears fell like rain. Peng Zhan, you're old. Haha, it's fine if I'm old, but you're not. An old man with a young wife, people would be envious. Peng Zhan smiled, but you wouldn't look down on me, would you? Yiwan Air shook her head. I'm sorry. For so many years, I left you and Yao Yao here. You didn't have a choice, I understand. However, our daughter is very good. That grand elder is very good. Other than Mr. Yang, only Yao Yao can suppress her. Peng Zhan sighed. Wan couldn't hold it in any longer and threw herself into Peng Zhan's embrace. The two had been separated for more than 10 years, and now they were finally reunited. Peng Zhan held Yi Waner in his arms. After entering the room, he casually closed the door. Ling Shan had been very troubled lately, for no other reason than that Tang Yuqi's pursuit was getting more and more obvious. Ling Shan didn't know what to do. On one hand, Tang Yuqi was one of the best crime-solving experts. With him in the police force, Ling Shan felt a lot less pressure. Tang Yuqi only needed to take a look at the cases, and he would be able to solve them easily. On the other hand, Tang Yuqi's salary was very low, the same as the police officers in the team. This made the people in the police force very satisfied with Tang Yuqi. Who wouldn't want such a cheap and capable employee? And so, Ling Shan couldn't fire him even if she wanted to. She could only act like she didn't know anything about Tang Yuqi's pursuit. Ling Shan, let's have dinner after work. Tang Yuqi finished his work and walked over with a smile. Last night, Tang Yuqi had just used a chi gathering pill and successfully broke through to Sky Class early phase. In actuality, Tang Yuqi didn't want to use pills to level up, but for Ling Shan, to make Ling Shan think that he was strong, he had to use pills frequently. The resources of the association were very plentiful, and Tang Yuqi was a core member of the association, so he had quite a lot of them. Tang Yuqi heard from other people that Ling Shan's criteria for a partner was to be stronger than her. That was why Tang Yuqi was in such a rush to level up. He wanted to increase the distance between him and Ling Shan. Ling Shan was an Earth class early phase, and if he wanted to increase the distance between them, he had to be a Sky class early phase. No, I still have things to do. Ling Shan didn't even raise her head from the case file in her hands. I just broke through to Sky class yesterday as a colleague and a friend. Aren't you going to help me celebrate? Tang Yuqi said. You broke through? Ling Shan paused, a little surprised. Tang Yuqi had broken through so many times recently, and he was now a Sky class? Wasn't this a little too fast? Yeah, so why don't we celebrate? Tang Yuqi smiled. I really have things to do today. I'll check the time after I'm done. Even so, Ling Shan didn't want to go out alone with Tang Yuqi anymore. She knew what Tang Yuqi was trying to achieve, so she didn't want to eat alone with him anymore. There was already someone in her heart, and she couldn't accept Tang Yuqi anymore. I see, then I'll wait for you. Tang Yuqi naturally didn't want to give up. Is there anything I can help with? These cases are from the past, and some of the victims' families have been asking about the progress. I want to rearrange these cases and see if there are any clues. Ling Shan said, if you don't have anything else, I'll give you half of it, and you can look at it together. Ah, okay. Tang Yuqi was speechless. Many of these cases that had been squeezed out in the past were years old. Looking at them now, not to mention so many cases, it was extremely difficult to find a clue to one of them. How long would it take to sort out all these clues and clues? How was this something that could be done in one night? But since Ling Shan said that, there was nothing Tang Yuqi could do about it. He could be with Ling Shan anyways. Working a little more wasn't a big deal. With that thought, Tang Yuqi picked up a couple of scrolls and started reading. Chapter 3176. Nah, I'll just order some takeout. Ling Shan said. Ling Shan, why are you always avoiding me? Tang Yuqi finally asked the question he'd been holding in his heart for a long time. He'd been trying his best to maintain his image in front of Ling Shan all this time, and he'd found out about Ling Shan's criteria for a mate as well. He felt that he fit the criteria perfectly, so he didn't understand why Ling Shan wouldn't accept him. He and Ling Shan were in the same line of work, and they had plenty of things in common. They were both practitioners, too, and he was stronger than Ling Shan. These were all things that fit Ling Shan's criteria for a mate, but why did Ling Shan keep rejecting him? Tang Yuqi didn't think that he wasn't good enough. He felt that the problem lay with Ling Shan, and so he gathered his courage to ask. Tang Yuqi, what do you want to say? Ling Shan frowned. She'd always known that Tang Yuqi liked her, but this was the first time she'd talked about this so openly and honestly. Ling Shan, I want to know, why do you keep rejecting me? Don't you understand what I'm thinking? I like you. Tang Yuqi said loudly. I'm staying here because of you. I feel like we're in the same line of work, and we're both practitioners. I've also heard that your criteria for a mate is that the man has to be stronger than you. I'm satisfied with all that. I don't understand, why don't you respond to my advances? Tang Yuqi, I believe you've noticed that I've been avoiding this question ever since I found out about your feelings. You should know what I mean. Ling Shan said. I didn't say it out loud because we're colleagues, hoping that you'd back off, but I didn't think that you'd do something like this. I didn't think that you'd get stronger and stronger. But since you've said it out loud today, I'll tell you that it's impossible between us. Why? There has to be a reason, right? Ling Shan, there has to be a reason for rejecting me. I feel like we're a good match, there's nothing wrong with it. Tang Yuqi said, unwilling to give up. If I had to give you a reason, it would be that I already have someone I like. Ling Shan looked at Tang Yuqi. She said firmly, I like him. Is that reason enough? But I've never seen him before. Are you lying to me, Ling Shan? Tang Yuqi didn't really believe her. If there really is such a person, then why would he do that? I've been in the police force for quite some time now. It's impossible that I haven't seen them before, right? He was very busy and had many things to do, so I didn't disturb him. Ling Shan said. Tang Yuqi, I can't deny that you're very good, but I'm speaking from a very fair perspective. He's much more powerful than you, so please let go of this matter. This is good for all of us. No. I don't believe it. Tang Yuqi said unwillingly, I'm a heaven stage expert, an expert in solving cases. How can he be better than me? Ling Shan, don't lie to me. There's no such person, right? Sorry, I don't need to lie to you. Ling Shan shrugged. Tang Yuqi, it doesn't matter if you believe it or not. In short, this person really exists. All right. Ling Shan, since you say that he's stronger than me, then I'll challenge him to a duel. Let's see who's stronger. Tang Yuqi said. If he's stronger than me, then I'll accept it wholeheartedly. If he's weaker than me, Ling Shan, I hope you can reconsider. Tang Yuqi, why are you so stubborn? Ling Shan didn't know what to do, but Tang Yuqi's way of doing things was very gentlemanly, after all. He wanted to compete with Lin Yi, and even if he won, he'd only let Ling Shan consider him. Ling Shan really couldn't say anything harsh to him. I hope you'll give me this chance. Tang Yuqi said firmly. I can't promise you that. If you really want to challenge him, I can find some time to talk to him, but I can't guarantee that he'll accept it. Ling Shan said. Alright, if he's really as strong as you say, a big hero, then he'll definitely accept my challenge. He won't be a coward. Tang Yuqi knew how to provoke her, and Ling Shan knew what he was thinking. She only smiled faintly and didn't take it to heart. In fact, Ling Shan hadn't seen Lin Yi in a while, and she missed Lin Yi a lot. But she heard that Lin Yi was very busy these days, being a bodyguard for Su Shihan, and the company's new product was on the market. So she didn't want to disturb Lin Yi. She hadn't encountered any difficult cases that she couldn't solve either. Tang Yuqi could take care of normal cases, and she didn't need Lin Yi's help. So there was no reason for Ling Shan to ask Lin Yi for help. Now was an opportunity. Lin Yi wanted to challenge him, and Ling Shan could use this to ask Lin Yi out and meet him. This was also why Ling Shan agreed to help Tang Yuqi. I'll talk to him. Ling Shan said. All right. If that's the case, then I won't pester you anymore. I'll take the case file back and look at it. If you want to stay in the office, then we can continue. I'll go back first. Tang Yuqi didn't pester her anymore after achieving his goal. Ling Shan was a little surprised. She nodded. I'll look at it for a while. Alright, see you tomorrow. Tang Yuqi didn't say much and left the office with the case file. After Tang Yuqi left, Ling Shan sighed and called Lin Yi. Ling Shan? Lin Yi was a little surprised when he picked up. Ling Shan hadn't contacted him for a while. Is there another case you can't solve? Not really. Ling Shan heard Lin Yi's words and felt a little embarrassed. It was as if she was useless. Every time she looked for Lin Yi, it was to solve a case. She quickly said. It's like this. There's a colleague in the police station who's chasing me. Colleague? Pursue you? Lin Yi paused. You called me just to tell me this? Huh. I rejected him and told him that I already have someone I like, but he wants to challenge you. Ling Shan said. Pfft. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I'm a practitioner, and a sky class at that. He wants to challenge me? Actually, he's a practitioner too, and a sky class. Ling Shan smiled bitterly. Chapter 3177. It's like this. Ling Shan didn't say anything about Tang Yin. He's actually a detective who came back from overseas, very famous. He came to our police station to fight, and he's only taking the salary of an assistant police officer, but he's working as an international detective. We were quite happy that he came, but who knew that his real goal was to pursue me, a sky class from overseas? Lin Yi was even more confused. There's a sky class from overseas? And this heaven rank expert actually ran over here? That's right. He belongs to an organization called the Overseas Practitioners Association. His name is Tang Yuqi. Have you heard of him? Ling Shan said. Tang Yuqi? Lin Yi paused. This name was quite familiar. It took him a bit of time to remember who this person was. Back then, when he went to the movies with Meng Yao and the others, Pin Liang was there as well. He met someone called Tang Yuqi, an overseas detective. Lin Yi's impression of this person wasn't bad. Could this person be a villain? Yes, but this person isn't too bad. He's pursuing me, but he doesn't cross the line. He doesn't have any bad intentions. Ling Shan said. You just need to teach him a lesson and let him back off. Huh, why would I teach him a lesson? Lin Yi asked. Ling Shan paused, annoyed. Then I'll say yes. What I mean is, you don't have to teach him a lesson. Lin Yi smiled. You're a bad person. Ling Shan said angrily. The dummy girl doesn't want to dual cultivate with you anymore. Huh. Lin Yi smiled. If Su Shihan goes out one day, ask him out. She's got a lot of enemies, after all. Things have calmed down for now, but I can't guarantee that no one will ambush her again. I can't leave her behind. Alright, don't be the bodyguard and become your boyfriend. Ling Shan said enviously. Just like Meng Yao. Yao Yao's gone. Lin Yi sighed. What? Gone? What do you mean? She's dead? Ling Shan asked, shocked. Usually, when someone said gone with a heavy tone, it meant that the person had passed away. Lin Yi's tone wasn't very nice, so Ling Shan couldn't be blamed for thinking too much. Pfft. Lin Yi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I went to an ancient sect and became its successor, so I had no choice but to go there. I'll tell you about it when I have the time. She is also an inheritor. Ling Shan was even more surprised. Alright, let me know when you're free. Then, when you go out, just give me a call. Okay. Lin Yi nodded. The next morning, Ling Shan told Tang Yuqi about the news. Otherwise, Tang Yuqi wouldn't be able to handle it. Tang Yuqi would still come and bother her. Why not give him a promise? Then, he had to wait patiently. He agreed. Good. I really didn't expect him to be the bodyguard of a superstar. This person's skill should be pretty good, but I'm a heaven rank expert. Is he that confident that he can beat me? Tang Yuqi said to himself. Ling Shan told him that Lin Yi was Su Shihan's bodyguard, and that he was busy these days, so he didn't come looking for her. With that, Tang Yuqi believed her. After all, when a superstar went out, a bodyguard had to be with them 24/7. He agreed, but don't get your hopes up. You're strong, but he's even stronger. Ling Shan poured a bucket of cold water on Tang Yuqi. It's okay, I'll prove myself. Tang Yuqi was full of confidence after Lin Yi agreed. He didn't bother him anymore and went to look at the case files. Ling Shan was just about to sit down when her phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number. She picked it up politely. Hello, I'm Donghai City's Ling Shan from the police station. Her phone might be called by the victim's family or other kind citizens with clues, so Ling Shan wouldn't miss a single call. Officer Song, hello. I'm Tang Yun's mother, Wang Yujia. Meng Yao gave me your number and told me to contact you directly. Mrs. Tang's voice came from the other side. Chapter 3178. And so, the two packed up and drove to the House of Six Tastes. There was a jeep parked in front of the House of Six Tastes. It was a car Mrs. Tang had asked Shuegu to buy for her. Mrs. Tang had actually bought one for Lin Yi, and she'd thought it was a pretty good one. Shuegu was rich, so she wouldn't offend Mrs. Tang over such a small matter. So, she bought it. Ling Shan, right? Mrs. Tang had seen Ling Shan before, and had some impression of her. She saw a pretty girl walking over with a young man who looked similar to Tang Jucheng. That must be Tang Yuqi. Tang Jucheng followed Mrs. Tang out of the car as well. Ling Shan didn't say anything, but Tang Yuqi, who was beside her, was extremely excited. He ran over quickly when he saw Jucheng because he could see his father's face. This was his second uncle, no doubt about it. It gave Jucheng an innate sense of closeness. Second uncle. Tang Yuqi called out subconsciously. You're Yuqi, right? Jucheng was filled with emotions. My brother, your father, is he doing well? Second uncle, my father is healthy, but he's getting old, and he's starting to reminisce about his hometown and you. He's just waiting for me to come back to look for him. I didn't think that with Ling Shan's help, we really did find him. Tang Yuqi said. Second uncle, what? What are you guys doing now? I heard from Ling Shan that it's a secret. Well, let's talk inside. Jucheng looked at Mrs. Tang, not knowing how to answer. Yeah, second uncle, second aunt, look at me, I forget that we're at the entrance of a restaurant. I forgot that we are at the entrance of the restaurant. Please. Tang Yuqi made a gesture of invitation in embarrassment. The House of Six Tastes was one of the most popular restaurants in Donghai. It was a big place, but it didn't have private rooms. Only guests with VIP cards could reserve seats. Normal people couldn't reserve seats and had to wait. Fortunately, Ling Shan was from House Song, a big family in the common world. It wasn't hard to get a membership card. The group entered the House of Six Tastes. But the disciple who was driving didn't follow. He knew his place, and didn't dare act presumptuously in front of Auntie Wang. Who in the Snow Valley didn't know that Auntie Wang was the boss? After ordering, Tang Jucheng and Tang Yuqi started chatting again. Although the two of them had never met before, Tang Yuqi knew a lot about his father's childhood because of his father's request. Now that he was talking about it with Tang Jucheng couldn't help but feel emotional. Ling Shan and Wang Yujia, on the other hand, didn't interrupt. allowing the two to talk about family matters. After that, Tang Yuqi talked a lot about his father and him overseas. The relationship between the two families became closer in an instant. At this time, the dishes were served, and everyone chatted while eating. The atmosphere was very harmonious. The matter of Lin Yi instantly killing two peak late-stage heaven-rank powerhouses spread in the ancient era, and the forces opposing Lin Yi all felt insecure. Other forces that had nothing to do with Lin Yi were also hesitating whether they should extend an olive branch to Lin Yi. As for those who were on good terms with Lin Yi, they were all very happy. However, as Lin Yi's follower, Feng Shipian, wasn't very happy. Dongfang Xiaocui told Feng Shipian everything about her, hoping that he could ask Lin Yi to let Dongfang Xiaocui go. To be honest, Feng Shipian was very angry with Dongfang Xiaocui's doing. She wanted to kill her half-sister, and this sister couldn't threaten her or his position at all, but she still wanted to assassinate her. This made Feng Shipian feel that his mother was very brainless. So he only answered vaguely and didn't agree to help, because he didn't know how to ask Lin Yi for this. He was Lin Yi's follower, yes, but asking for forgiveness for his mother's wrongdoing, Feng Shipian didn't think it was appropriate. After all, he and his father begged Lin Yi to help protect Su Shihan, and now he wanted Lin Yi to forgive the enemy that targeted Su Shihan. Wasn't this a conflict? But, at the end of the day, Dongfang Xiaocui was Feng Shipian's mother, and Feng Shipian was a very kind person. Since he was willing to help Nidian get the medicine, he couldn't be cruel to his own mother. So, in the end, he still called Lin Yi. "Shipian, how is it, any news?" Lin Yi picked up and asked. "Boss. It's not that there's news, but, there's something, I don't know how to tell you." Feng Shipian was hesitant. "What's wrong? What can't you say?" Lin Yi was confused. "Why are you being so polite with me? If you have something to say, just say it." "It's like this, boss, the assassination against my sister was actually led by my mother." Feng Shipian said carefully. "I know, isn't your grandfather Dongfang Badeo from the Dongfang family?" Lin Yi knew about this, but, "I'm sorry, I killed your second uncle." Sweat. "I don't have any feelings for them, and we haven't lived together since we were young. We rarely see each other." Feng Shipian said, "What I mean is, can you forgive my mother, don't kill her?" "Why would I kill her?" Lin Yi heard Feng Shipian's words and suddenly froze. "The thing against my sister was done by my mother, and now the ancient level has spread, saying that you can instantly kill two heaven-class late-phase peak masters, so my mother is afraid that you will take revenge on her." Feng Shipian explained. "Shipian, I'm just Xiaohan's bodyguard, I only protect her and not let others hurt her. As for who is targeting her, I really don't need to take the initiative to find them. My purpose is to scare them, so that they don't cause trouble for Xiaohan, that's enough." After listening, Lin Yi said, "And, even if I want to find trouble, I will go to the Dongfang family, and not her." In fact, protecting Su Shihan was only Lin Yi's job, and the real enemy of Lin Yi was the Dongfang family. Lin Yi killed Dongfang Jian. This was a trouble that would not stop until he was dead. As for Dongfang Xiaocui, without the Dongfang family, she was a poor woman. "Then I'm relieved, thank you, boss," Feng Shipian said with a sigh of relief. "It's nothing, so, Xiaohan is not in danger for the time being?" Lin Yi asked. "You're tuning into the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.